File with TaxSlayer Simply-Free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. Simply-Free is available to a limited number of taxpayers. See taxslayer.com for eligibility.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. Nobody in Kansas City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this. I don't know if today counts as a Red Monday or not. I imagine many of you were feeling down after last night's Super Bowl. I'm going to get into two things that I want you to keep in mind for today's show. Number one, the show is 4 hours long. I've done these kind of shows before, and on the text line, it's a lot of, well, why didn't you guys talk about, I can't talk about everything in one segment. We will talk about everything, but maybe not at that exact point when you are listening. I just want you to keep that in mind. I know everybody's a little bit on edge today. Let's just take a little bit of a woosah. I want to give you that disclaimer. And I also want to tell you, number two, we will have pockets today for you to call in every single hour. And if you get on hold today, I promise you we will do everything in our power to take your phone calls. Today doesn't need to be me opining for 4 hours. We are not taking any guests today. I'm not really interested in playing too much audio for today's show. Today's show is going to be me saying what I think. Today should also be about you letting us know how you feel about what happened yesterday in the Super Bowl. So with all that said, I need you guys to do me two favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock, even now that football season is over. I want you still listening on February 19th. We will probably be talking about football then, but just be sure to be listening at 2 o'clock. And number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. You know what? That would make me happy. This is where I would like to begin today's show in recapping the beatdown that the Eagles put on the Chiefs yesterday. I believe that one of the worst things in life you can be is stubborn. We all have those moments where you feel like you are 100% in the right about something, you feel like you were doing something correctly, and there is information provided that tells you you were wrong. Now, everybody is going to be wrong at some point. Some people are more wrong than others, but I don't care who you are. At one point, you are firmly going to believe something, and what you believe is going to be disproved. You are now at a crossroads. You can admit that you were wrong and change and reverse course, or you can continue to fight on that lie and can continue to be wrong. There's no shame in being wrong about something. The shame is staying wrong about something. What I saw the Chiefs do yesterday was incredibly stubborn, and they did this the last time they lost the Super Bowl. Let's talk about it. Now, maybe this point hit you in the game at a different point. I can't tell you when this hit you. Maybe it hit you in the first series. Maybe it hit you in the second series, the third series. Again, I'm not here to tell you when you came to this epiphany, but it became very, very clear that the Kansas City Chiefs could not block the Philadelphia Eagles. And in a game in which you have who we think to be maybe the greatest coach of the salary cap era, you were then faced with a choice. You were then faced with a decision. This is the same decision that you had 5 years ago in the Super Bowl. Maybe you had a plan going into it, but as that plan started to unveil itself, at some point, you got the, oh boy, hey, they're a lot more physical than us up front. They're a lot better than us up front. We got to do something about it. And for the second Super Bowl I've seen with Andy Reid and I've seen with this coaching staff, they refuse to make changes. Now, I can't tell you if DJ Humphries would have changed many things. It just felt like it wasn't the Kansas City Chiefs night. And that happens sometimes, right? The Chiefs have given out plenty of ass whoopings. Sometimes you're going to get your ass whooped. And that's what happened yesterday. I'm not here telling you that DJ Humphries would have been the end-all, solve-all problems. But it became obvious that the 5 people that they had playing on their offensive line yesterday, it was not good enough. And you are then faced with a choice. You can continue to do what you've been doing, which was not going to work yesterday, or you can change. You can put DJ Humphries in at left tackle. You can move Joe Thuney back to his natural position. You can chip. You can help. You can ball up the game plan that you had that got you down 17-0 and then 24-0, or you can keep doing what had got you that deficit. And the Chiefs, for some magical reason, decided, oh, well, we're good. No, we're fine. We're going to keep these 5 offensive linemen. We're not going to help Joe Thuney on the other side. We're not going to help Mike Caliendo on the inside. We're just going to hope that our 5 offensive linemen eventually figure it out. Plot twist. Spoiler alert, they did not. And they continued to whip the Chiefs up and down that field all night. Let me give you my first stat for the day. Philadelphia got pressure on 52.4% of their pass plays and did not blitz. This was not Vic Fangio drawing up something incredibly creative last night. This was not Vic Fangio simply out-scheming the Kansas City Chiefs. It is our big boys are better than your big boys, and we don't think that you can stop them. And once that became very clear, it is now Andy Reid to play a little bit of chess. He was still playing Candyland at that point and continued to let Joe Thuney be out there on an island. The same way he let Mike Rimmers be out there on an island. He let Mike Caliendo be out there on an island. The same way that he let Andrew Wiley be out there on an island. And they were not capable yesterday. We can talk about Patrick Mahomes, who was not good. We can talk about Travis Kelce, who was not good. No one really played well yesterday, maybe aside from Xavier Worthy. But responsibility has to start at the top. And we all put a lot of praise onto Andy Reid, and he deserves a lot of praise. But he has been severely outcoached in 2 Super Bowls, and he got outcoached by somebody who everybody keeps telling me is not good at his job. They seem to be pretty on the ball yesterday with how they were beating you up front. That's number 1. Let's move on to number 2. When I was frustrated. Again, stubbornness. There is no shame in being wrong. All of us will be wrong at some point. The shame is continuing to be wrong. How many times have we sat here? How many times more specifically have I sat here and I've told you guys that the Chiefs offense is best when they run the football? You got Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. Nobody thinks you're running for 120 yards, but you got to try to run the football. You got to try to be balanced. And when the Chiefs offense gets into a lot of trouble, it is usually because Andy gets away from a formula that works. Can anybody tell me why Kareem Hunt had 3 carries yesterday? He got 17 carries in the AFC Championship game. I don't want to hear that they got down early. That game was close for the first 15, 20 minutes or so of the game. And they continue to throw and throw and throw. And I'm sitting there thinking, why? How are you doing this? The only stat you really need from yesterday's game, the only one, is that Kenny Pickett had as many rush attempts as Kareem Hunt did yesterday. The Chiefs had no interest in running the football yesterday. The Chiefs had no interest in being balanced yesterday. Maybe they lose. With all of these fixes, maybe they lose. They run the ball more. Doesn't matter. They put DJ Humphries out there, move Joe Thuney to the inside, his natural position. Maybe none of it works. Man, it would have felt good to watch him try. And how it came off to me yesterday was, for the first time since the Tampa Bay game, we saw the Chiefs get knocked down and get up and not really have a plan. That's what it looked like to me. I'm used to seeing Patrick Mahomes play with a little bit of fire. I didn't see that fire from him yesterday. I'm used to seeing Travis Kelce play with a little bit of fire. Hell, where was the Travis Kelce who pushed his coach yesterday? I didn't see that Travis Kelce. The only player that I saw look like they played with a little bit of fire, who played like they had a little bit of that oomph, was Chris Jones. Chris Jones was emotional in the first half of that game because there's a standard that has been created on this team. And I'm mad because we're not playing up to our standard. We saw the Chiefs get bullied yesterday, is what we saw. We saw the Chiefs, who have pushed everybody else around, who have waved their superiority in front of everybody else. We're better than you. That's what they've been telling teams for 3 years. And for the most part, they have been better than everybody. They haven't been lying to anybody. We're a better team than you. We have a better culture than you do. We have a better coach than you do, a better quarterback than you do. And if it's close, we will beat you. And the Eagles just said, so we won't make it close then. That's what they said. So it won't be close then. We don't need to worry about the officiating or this or that. We're just going to beat you. And we don't think that you're going to do anything about it. And those first 15 plays, when they didn't work, when the Chiefs game plan that I'm sure they worked real hard on for those 2 weeks, when that game plan didn't work, they didn't have a plan B. They didn't have a plan B. Their plan B is usually, Pat, save us. Pat couldn't save them yesterday. Kelsey couldn't save them yesterday. Joe Tooney couldn't save them yesterday. No one could save them yesterday. They drowned right in front of all of us. Yesterday was supposed to be a culmination. It was supposed to be a celebration. It was supposed to be a victory lap. The only victory lap I saw was during halftime. I didn't see one during the game. Not at all. We all get things wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. But there is a measure of maturity that comes from, hey, you know what? What I thought was going to happen is not happening. We got to switch things up a little bit. The Chiefs at no point decided to do that with their offensive line. They decided to have the same plan when it was 59 minutes left in the game that they had with 9 minutes left in the game. And ultimately that did them in. And I saw a Chiefs team that, albeit they get into a lot of fights, when they got hit with a haymaker that they haven't seen in 3 years, they did not respond well at all. They got knocked down to the ground early and got back up and looked dazed and confused and had no response to anything that Philadelphia did. Let's not make any mistakes about it. That was a beatdown on all levels. The Chiefs did not win a single portion of that game yesterday. They didn't win on offense. They didn't win on defense. They didn't win on special teams. They didn't win in the training. There was no facet of playing football that Philadelphia was better at than Kansas City. That was just a domination from start to finish. We can open up the phone lines, 913-586-7965. I promise you, if you get on hold, I promise you we will do everything we can to take your calls. We'll read some texts. We'll continue to react to yesterday's Super Bowl 59 as the Eagles are the new champion in the National Football League. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This Valentine's Day, shop at Helzberg and get up to 50% off select jewelry. Like a diamond pendant that says,
I'm so lucky I met you.
a stunning engagement ring to say,
Let's make this day unforgettable.
or an anniversary band to tell them.
10 years, and we still got it.
Come to Helzberg this Valentine's and get up to 50% off select jewelry and engagement rings. A perfect gift designed with the love and care worthy of your story. Visit a Helzberg store or helzberg.com.
Has a loved one died and left you an old car to sell? GiveMeTheVin.com has just launched the new service GMTVCC.com. Write this down, GMTVCC.com, which is Give Me the VIN classic and collector car buying service. GMTVCC.com will hook you up with GMTVCC Pro buyers that will appraise and offer on that 69 Chevelle, old Corvette, old truck, and especially Restomods. We love Restomods at GMTVCC.com. Don't mess with consignments or auctions. Get paid today on your classic or collector car at GMTVCC.com.
Winter is more than half over, and things are looking up. But before we start thinking about spring lawn care, I'd like to ask you to look up at your trees. This is Larry Ryan at Ryan Lawn and Tree. And right now, before the leaves fill in, is a great time to find and take care of old storm damage, remove dead branches, and carefully prune trees for better growth and storm resilience. Now is also when you can save 15% with our winter rates. Our team of master pruners and certified arborists is unmatched in both skill and care. And at Ryan Lawn and Tree, they're also employee owners. You're not just a customer, you're their customer. I think you'll be impressed with the difference that makes. So will your valuable trees. Take advantage of our winter rates and enjoy 15% off all tree services when you book before March 1st. Call today or book online at ryanlawn.com/tree.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show February 21st through 23rd at the Overland Park Convention Center. Test and buy big brands and enjoy new women's and kids programs Saturday at the show. Front door bonuses and tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. Here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Don't wait. Head to truegreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data, available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Nick Bolton, MIZ. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
If you're on hold, stay there. I promise you today, if you get on hold, we will take your phone call. Text line 913-586-7965. I led the show today with, I believe that the Chiefs' biggest problem yesterday is they remained very stubborn in what their game plan was. And they did this in the game against Tampa Bay. Maybe it was just doomed. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. The other team is better than you. And Philadelphia, everything that Philadelphia people had told us about their roster ended up being true. Their roster is better than Kansas City's. I'm sorry, we saw it yesterday. Their roster is better than Kansas City's. They were better at running back, even though they didn't run the ball very effectively. They tried to run the ball yesterday. Their offensive line is better than Kansas City's. Their defensive line is better than Kansas City's. Their linebackers are better than Kansas. They are a better team. They are better put together than Kansas City. There is no denying that, in my opinion, based on what I just saw. But for Andy to be such a great coach, for you to feel at times like they are too stubborn to make an adjustment or change course is frustrating. Their offensive line needed help yesterday. And the one person that can throw them a life jacket just didn't really seem very interested in throwing them a life jacket yesterday. I also think that we saw the Chiefs get bullied in a way. We've seen enough Chiefs games. I didn't see the energy or fight yesterday from them. The Chiefs, they walk around with the swagger, and they should walk around with the swagger. They had won 23 of their last 24 games. The Chiefs were the best team in the league. The Eagles came into that with a clear, we think we can get after you. We think we can beat you up. And that's what they started doing from the very beginning. And at no point did I feel like the Chiefs as a team really started to fight back. They looked shell-shocked. They look like somebody that's like, oh, hit me first, hit me first, hit me first. And they're doing all this huffing and puffing. And the other person's like, all right, and then hauls off and hits them in the face. Well, now, then the fight has started. If you're waiting on the other person to make the first move and then they hit you, it's time for you to respond. And the Chiefs just didn't have the energy, like they were ready to fight yesterday. At least that's not how it came off to me. Text line 913-586-7965. Cedar, I agree with you, but when would you have made the change? Would it have been the third drive or 17-0 or 24-0? It fell over by then. Maybe I am being a little bit too optimistic in how I was approaching the game. I didn't really get that worried early on in the game. We've just seen Kansas City get off to really slow starts and figure it out along the way. So much to, I remember even texting my friend when it was 7-0, and remember Jalen Hurts then throws the interception to Brian Cook, and I'm like, all right, this is usually when the Chiefs get back into it. You had a chance, you threw an interception, you had a chance to bury the Chiefs, and you didn't bury the Chiefs, and now they are going to make you pay for it. I was thinking that. It was 17-0. And the Chiefs got the ball back after the pick six. I'm like, all right, this is where they normally go down. They do something here. It's 17-3. You're thinking, whew. All right, you weathered the very difficult early storm, and now you're back in it. The Chiefs then force another punt. They force a punt. They have the ball with 2 minutes to go in the first half. They are also getting the ball to start the second half. Rob, you and I play enough video games. Now is where you go get the double up. You're down 17-0. You put a drive together. You go score. You got a little bit of momentum. The other person just now had a commanding lead. Now they know you have to stop them. At some point, you have to fight back. That was your drive to fight back. Now, it wasn't ideal when you got it. You got the ball on the 6-yard line. Now it's time for your quarterback. Now it's time for your championship-level team with that championship DNA to elevate, to rise up, to play better. 1st and 10 from the 6-yard line. 2 minutes left. Greatest quarterback in the world. They threw an interception. And it wasn't just the interception. I saw Joe Thuney get pushed back at least 3 yards. Zach Bond, the all-pro linebacker, was moving furniture yesterday against Joe Thuney. He pushed him in. I was looking at it like Joe Thuney got the sack. That's what happened. Joe Thuney sacked Patrick Mahomes. He pushes him into Patrick. Patrick clearly is uncomfortable. Worthy's open over the middle of the field, but it would have took a decent throw to get him the ball. The ball gets intercepted. You then gave Philadelphia the ball 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. I mean, they were scoring a touchdown on that drive. We knew it. Like, what are we doing here? They've been beating you up all day. You're now going to give them the drive right then and there? I don't really have too many critical things to say about the defense. I'm not saying the defense was great by any means, but the defense held on for as long as they could. This game was 10-0. You're waiting on the offense to give you something. Patrick Mahomes throws a pick six, I believe for the third time in his career. He throws a pick six. He then throws another interception that gives him the ball on the 14-yard line. You can't overcome everything that's going wrong. You can't overcome not running the ball. Your offensive line is playing poorly. The wide receiver that you traded for in the middle of the season can't catch a wide open pass, and you gift them 7 points and then put the ball on the doorstep for another 14. You can't overcome all of these things. You can overcome 1 or 2 of these things. Oh, a little fumble in the third quarter against Buffalo. Oh, we can overcome that. They had too many holes on the boat yesterday. It was leaking everywhere. You can't solve all those problems at one time, especially when your quarterback is contributing to the problems. Your offensive line, your Hall of Fame offensive lineman in Joe Thuney is contributing to the problems. You can't fix all those problems at one time. You lose. I'm here to pay respects to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm here to pay respects to the Eagles because anybody who was picking Philly told us they were better than the Chiefs and told you flat out why they were better than the Chiefs. We all called Elliott Shore-Parks crazy last week when he came on the show. He ended up kind of being right about Philadelphia. That team was better than Kansas City. And we have not seen too many teams over the last 3-4 years that you can just look and say, oh, they're better than the Chiefs. The Eagles are better than Kansas City. It's simple. They were better. Their quarterback played better. They ran the ball more effectively. Their offensive line was better. Their defensive line was better. And what frustrates me the most is they were coached better. You wouldn't have thought that. You wouldn't have thought that. You wouldn't have thought a team with Nick Sirianni, Vic Fangio, who the Chiefs have dominated, you wouldn't have thought that they would have put together a better game plan than what Kansas City would have had. We all were getting our jokes off. Andy's just sitting in the room and tinkering and watching the 1927 Rose Bowl to get some inspiration. I didn't see any of that yesterday. Did you? They ran one of those kind of plays. It was one of the better plays they had. It was on the first drive of the game where they faked the little end around to Worthy. He got everybody's attention, and they threw it to Juju over the middle of the field. That was the only level of creativity I saw. The rest of it was the Chiefs on the ground getting ground and pound is what I saw. It looked like that scene from A Christmas Story where Ralphie was pummeling that kid. That's what the Eagles did to the Chiefs yesterday. That was a world star video in front of everybody, in front of 150 million people. It was a world star video. It was that fight in Birmingham, Alabama, where they were hitting people with chairs and throwing them in the water. That's what happened to the Chiefs yesterday. An unfiltered, pure beatdown yesterday. Let's go to the phone lines. If you are on hold today, I promise you we will take your phone calls. 913-586-7965. Let's go to Melvin. Hey, Melvin, how you doing today, man?
Hey, C-Dot, you on fire today, man. All the points that you're making is right on. But let me say this. One of the problems that we have is that Andy always wants to give the offensive coordinator credit for setting up the game plan, this, that, and the other. And you said this before. What does Nagy do? I mean, because ever since he's been back, the offense has never looked like it did before. We don't know if that was Biemi or Andy or whatever, but like you said, Andy, you see these boys is dominating your offensive line. Do something different. And like Philadelphia, they just had that day like we had against the Patriots years ago. But they changed their offensive and defensive coordinators. The general manager changed them. Andy has too much loyalty sometimes, in my opinion, with his coordinators, and we as fans, we're in a quagmire. Do we blame Andy or do we blame the coordinators? We don't really know who's doing what except for Spags. We know what he's doing on the defensive side. But, hey, thanks. You on point, and you had me cracking about that Birmingham, Alabama fight, but thanks a lot for taking my call.
Melvin, no problem, man. That's what happened to the Chiefs yesterday, man. I'm not here to pull any punches. I'm sorry. That's what happened yesterday. It was the Birmingham, it was a viral fight video. Rob, you remember when that girl got stomped out in that romper at that Morgan Wallen show? That's what happened to the Chiefs yesterday. In front of everybody. Right in front of everybody. I can't sit here and tell you I know what Matt Nagy does. I don't know what Matt Nagy does. There was a scene, Rob, where they cut to both of them on the sideline, and Matt Nagy was looking at a piece of paper, like a laminated play sheet. I thought it was a Waffle House menu. I was like, bro, I don't know what plays have you called? You didn't step in and suggest anything? I would really love to hear why they didn't put in DJ Humphries. I would love to hear the explanation of why they didn't try it. It was sitting right there. It was not working on the left side of their offensive line. It was not working with Tooney at left tackle. It was not working with Mike Caliendo. It was not working. You got DJ Humphries. You got him for a break in case of emergency. Being down 17-0 in the Super Bowl to me sounds like an emergency. Hey, I don't care. You haven't been playing. We got to try something. We got to do something. And they just sat back and kept doing what the Chiefs do. And usually that works. That works against a lot of teams. That works against the Ravens. That works against the Bills. They have played the Eagles twice in the Super Bowl. They ain't really outplayed Philadelphia in either one of those two. They didn't. They got the ball the last time, and Philly scored 30 points against them, and they just got beat up in this one. I'm not trying to take away from the first one. You won the game, but the Eagles have looked like their equivalent in the two biggest stages we have seen them against. They look like a team that all the things that Kansas City is doing right, they are also doing those things right. they have built a very complete roster who has shown you that they can win a bunch of different ways. They could win a high-scoring game if they needed to. They could win a rock fight if they needed to. They can run the football effectively. They can throw the football effectively. They seem to have way more combinations and moves than Kansas City did. They seem to have more clubs in the bag than what the Chiefs did yesterday. And they took one of those clubs and they beat the Chiefs with it. Let's go back to the phone lines, 913-586-7965. Sam called into the drive. Hey, Sam.
Hey, what's going on, man? Big fan of the show, long-time listener. Hey, listen, man, I just want to offer some words of encouragement to any other Chiefs fans listening and kind of put things in perspective. Like, I've been a Chiefs fan my entire life. Everything from, Derek Thomas's passing to, Trent Green getting hurt in 2006 to, the abysmal 2-14 season where we had all those off-field issues. Not going to get into that. But, man, the fact that we went from that to winning 9 straight division titles, like 7 straight AFC championship appearances, 5 AFC championship wins, 3 Super Bowl wins, an MVP caliber quarterback, and one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like, we got our butts kicked yesterday. There's no two ways about it. And the 3-peat would have been cool. But listen, man, I could not be more grateful as a fan to still be in this era. And the best part about it is that they're not done. They may have got their butts kicked yesterday, but listen, man, the Chiefs are not done, not even close. Like, this is just one of those losses you got to take on the chin, and, man, they'll get right back into it. So that's all I wanted to say.
No, Sam, no problem, man. I appreciate the phone call. I don't disagree with what Sam said. I don't think you can disagree with what Sam said. Sam is 100% spot on. I'm not here to take away from anything that Kansas City has done. They are still a dynasty. They still accomplished something that no team has ever done before with giving themselves a chance to win a three-peat. Where I will disagree with Eric a little bit is the team played like they believe everything that Eric just said. I mean, the three-peat will be cool, but I mean, we've already won this a couple of times. I saw more fight from the team when they were down 10 to San Francisco with 8 minutes to go. Like, they've been in these situations before. I didn't see a whole lot on the sideline, Pat going up to guys, trying to get guys fired up, back and forth. I didn't see a whole lot of Travis Kelce doing that exact same thing, your core leaders. Chris Jones, to me, was the only person that showed that level of emotion and was really trying to get guys' energy level to be super high. Rob, it was clear leading into the game that the Chiefs were kind of leaking out conversations about their private team meeting. You saw those too, right? James Palmer, like the Chiefs were putting out there, oh, we're together. We want everybody to know this. Oh, the team meeting, Pat got up and got us all fired up. And that came from somebody who was a part of that meeting. I didn't see that yesterday. From a quarterback who has told us how the loss against Tampa Bay haunts him and how that feels as bad as the losses hurt more than the winning feels good. Did you guys see that fire from Patrick yesterday? Because I've seen Pat more fired up when they've lost regular season games. I saw a quarterback who got shell-shocked yesterday. I saw a quarterback who, just like a boxer, maybe underestimated the power of his opponent. He got hit with a couple shots in the face, and those shots hurt way more than he expected them to hurt. I don't think the Chiefs came into this game plan ill-prepared. I don't think the Chiefs half-assed it the last 2 weeks. They're too good of a team to think that. I think Philadelphia hit harder than Kansas City expected, and they didn't have a counter for it. I think they were a boxer that went in and underestimated their opponent's power. Their opponent hit them with the haymaker, and it dazed the Chiefs, and they never recovered. Because they've taken Buffalo's best shot. I don't think Buffalo hits as hard as that Philadelphia team. They've taken Baltimore's best shot. Like, they've taken everybody's best shot the last 2-3 years or so. They've played everybody. Every team that you think is good, the Chiefs have played. I mean, Philly beat them last year in the regular season. Philly had it tied with less than, Philadelphia has been able to stand in the middle of the ring and box with Kansas City. and they were not ready for their power at all. Let's get back to the phone lines, 913-586-7965. If you call in today, I promise you we will take your phone calls. Jeff, you called into the show. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing well. First of all, Carrington, been a big fan since the beginning. Love what you do. You're actually the reason I do what I do. But last night's game really burns me, man. It really burns me. Call me crazy here. This reminds me of, and I understand it's a film, The Longest Yard. I really think someone was in deep. I think one of the players half-assed it, maybe to throw the game. It just didn't look like the Chiefs team that we normally see. The offense had 49-yard rushing. 49 yards, that's it. It didn't look like the team that we're used to. It's like someone had a fix in on this game. Thank you, and I'll listen off the air.
No problem, Jeff. I appreciate the phone call. I appreciate the kind words. Those kind words are the only reason I didn't hang up on you. I'm not doing that today. The Chiefs just lost. We don't have to do this after every time the Chiefs lose. We did this when they lost to Cincinnati. I don't want to do that today. The Chiefs, they got outplayed. I'm sorry. They got outplayed yesterday. They lost. This wasn't FanDuel. This wasn't the cartel. Nobody was it. No, they just lost. They got beat from the word go. Ever since that coin hit the ground, after the coin toss, they got beat yesterday. It's just that simple. You got to tip your cap. Got to tip your cap to what Philadelphia did yesterday. You got to. You got to. Got to tip your cap, and we'll talk more about it. You got to tip your cap to Jalen Hurts for what he did. You got to tip your cap to Nick Sirianni. So, no. I appreciate the kind words, Jeff. Salute to you. I'm happy to help you with whatever you got going on. I ain't doing it. Text line, something's up, and it will eventually come out. No. They lost. We're not doing this. They lost. You got to tip your cap to what I just saw the Eagles do. I haven't seen a team do that to the Chiefs in 5 years. I haven't seen a team do that to Kansas City. It happened yesterday on the main stage. Smoked Kansas City yesterday. You guys want a lot of respect from the opposition and hate when the opposition takes credit away from you guys, which they've done a lot of that the last couple of years. You got to be willing to give that same respect back to the opposition when they do what they did, and they pummeled you last night. Eric is in L.A. Hey, Eric, how you doing today, man?
Hey, how you doing? I just want to go ahead and say this, and, this kind of reminds me of something that happened with one of my other teams, which happens to be the Chargers. And, the Chiefs did not come prepared. It's not you don't think, it's you know. And the thing is that when it came down to the offensive line and when it came down to what was out there, I was listening to the game yesterday, Kevin Harlan. I was also listening to the Merrill Lease side. And the thing about it is, yes, you do have to credit Philadelphia. That offensive line of Kansas City, no answer. Defensive line, no answer. I mean, it wasn't until the fourth quarter before the Chiefs kind of woke up, but it was too much, too little, too late. And yes, you do have to give credit where credit is due with regard to the Philadelphia Eagles, because the Eagles came out prepared and the Kansas City Chiefs did not. Clearly.
Absolutely. Okay. I appreciate the phone call, man. We're up against it. We'll talk more about this coming up on the other side. If you're on hold, stay there. Again, I promise you. If you call in today, we will take your phone calls. The show doesn't have to just be me yelling for 4 hours, even though, trust me, I'm prepared to yell for the next 4 hours. I can't believe what we saw yesterday. This season was like a great movie, and then the ending absolutely sucked. That's what it was. This movie was I Am Legend. That's what this movie was. Like, the movie was great, and then you're sitting there watching the end, and you're like, wait, what? What did I just watch? We've been watching this team for 20 weeks now. No one saw that coming. Like, how? I still don't really believe it happened, even though I watched it. I still can't believe they went out there and there was not a single point in that game that the Chiefs were competitive. From start to finish, there was not a single aspect of the game in which Kansas City outplayed Philadelphia. They lost on every single metric. Their quarterback was bad. Their coaching was bad. Their talent looked bad yesterday. I cannot believe Philadelphia went out there and outclassed them in almost every facet of the game. Coming up on the other side, let's talk about the other team's quarterback who was really, really good yesterday. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Are you ready to start feeling your absolute best? I've got the perfect solution. Stretch Zone, your destination for practitioner-assisted stretching. Whether you're an athlete looking to enhance performance or someone seeking relief from the daily grind, Stretch Zone's personalized stretching sessions cater to all levels and lifestyles. Unleash your potential. Let Stretch Zone guide you to a healthier, more flexible you. 6 area locations. Book your session today at StretchZone.com. Stretch Zone. Stretch, work, play, repeat.
This Valentine's Day, fall in love with Hy-Vee. The classic dozen roses, just $19.99. Avoid the restaurant hassle and treat your Valentine to a home-cooked meal featuring bacon-wrapped filet, salad, bakery fresh baguette, twice-baked potatoes, vegetable, and dessert for just $35 a couple. Top it off with your favorite bottle of wine or spirits from Hy-Vee's wide selection. One stop makes this Valentine's Day the sweetest ever, only at Hy-Vee.
I love Hy-Vee for so many different reasons, but one of the things I love most about Hy-Vee is their customer service. Everyone that works at Hy-Vee is awesome. And you know what else I love about Hy-Vee? I don't have to sacrifice quality and service to get low prices. Hy-Vee just dropped the price on thousands of items in every aisle, in every department, on items I buy every day, both in-store and online. Hy-Vee even match prices with the nation's biggest discount stores. So check out Hy-Vee today and get those low prices only at Hy-Vee. It starts as a nuisance and you just put up with it, but then that awful joint pain impacts everything in your life. Walking, climbing stairs, even getting in and out of the car hurts. Hey, it's Bob Fesco. I'm talking about that always there joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. But here's the good news. QC Kinetics. Groundbreaking treatments for arthritis pain. Long-term relief is now possible with no downtime. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients would tell you, don't wait, make the call today. These new orthobiologic cellular therapies, including PRP treatments, can revitalize your joints without going under the knife. Look, joint pain doesn't get better with time, so before it's absolutely debilitating, see if you're a candidate for these life-changing regenerative treatments. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage Service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
This afternoon, expect cloudy skies with a high of 38.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
Chiefs fans, it's George Karlaftis. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the show. I promise you we'll keep taking phone calls. Let me make this point really quickly. I think all of us were kind of hating on Jalen Hurts a little bit. I don't got no problem admitting that. I can't lead with the open that I did and then not be willing to come in here and say that I was wrong about some things. I mean, Philadelphia really ran through this postseason. Ran through it. Dominated Green Bay, dominated Washington, dominated the Chiefs, and they had their one nail-biter at home against the Rams. They only got outplayed one time this year. They lost to Atlanta on a drop. They lost to Washington, where their starting quarterback went out in another drop. One team beat them this season. This was a dominant start-to-finish season and performance from Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is good. I feel like we do this weird thing with quarterbacks that I don't know if we need to do that with him. I don't know if the numbers are ever going to be there. Not how we traditionally think of them. They're not going to be there. Jalen Hurts is not throwing for 4,000 yards. He's not throwing for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdown passes. That's not going to be him. If you are telling me that Steve Spagnuolo is the best defensive coordinator possibly in league history, he has had 2 opportunities in the postseason to go up against that quarterback. That quarterback has played well. There's no excuse for the Chiefs defense. And I'm not blaming the Chiefs defense. This was a collaborative effort in failing yesterday. They had everybody healthy on all phases, on all levels. There was not a significant injury. There was not a person missing on that defense. They did not stop Jalen Hurts yesterday. A lot of you came into it with the mindset, well, if they can just stop Saquon Barkley, then they can stop everything. The Chiefs stopped Saquon Barkley. They didn't stop the quarterback. He had 11 carries for 72 yards and scored a touchdown. He was 17 of 22, had 221 yards passing and threw a touchdown. He accounted for 3 touchdowns yesterday. His 1 touchdown was deep in the red zone. Jalen Hurts was great yesterday. The numbers are never going to look like Justin Herbert's numbers, for example. His numbers are never going to look like some of those other quarterbacks that are ahead of him. You take your team to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, you stand toe-to-toe with the best quarterback of his era, one of the 5 best quarterbacks of all time, the way that Jalen Hurts has in these moments, and you play like he's played. I got to tip my cap. You were good. Maybe we have looked at this thing wrong with you. He also made throws and plays in the passing game. This was not him being completely caretaken. You don't go 17 of 22. He completed over 75% of his passes. That throw to Devontae Smith for the touchdown is a big-time throw. He made some great throws on the sideline to A.J. Brown. Sure, they've put weapons and pieces around him. That's what you're supposed to do. We can't watch the Chiefs and be like, oh, well, he needed more. And then when a guy gets more, it's like, oh, well, you got too much help. Well, you can't have both. Jalen Hurts yesterday played like one of those guys. I think he has played like one of those guys in pockets of his career. Now, can he continue it? Is there a next step? I don't know. But for a style of quarterback, people told me you can never win a championship with a quarterback people told you cannot win a championship with, he's proved a lot of people wrong. I got to tip my cap. I got to show respect to Jalen Hurts. And this summer, when people start making their quarterback list, a lot of people are going to put quarterbacks who have accomplished far less than what he has and have come up small in those moments before. Philadelphia needed Jalen Hurts to play well yesterday, and he did it. He played well the last Super Bowl. He played well in this one. I don't have anything to take away from Jalen Hurts in his game or the tush push or any of those things. People said they wanted to see him play well with no Saquon Barkley. Saquon had less than 100 yards, did not score a touchdown, and Jalen Hurts still held his own and did his thing. He had a 120 quarterback rating yesterday. He was good. He was good. He was very, very good yesterday, was the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming up at the top of the hour, let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins. Let's talk about D-Hop. He pissed me off 3 separate times yesterday. He made me mad. 3 separate times. D-Hop's great. Might be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He had 3 cardinal sins yesterday. I'll tell you what they are. Let's go to the phone lines. 913-586-7965. Kristen called into the show. Hey, Kristen, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great. How are you? Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear. I appreciate you calling in today.
Me too. Thanks for taking my call. I've been listening to you guys. I found you guys during the 57 Super Bowl. Never been a sports radio person till you and Rob, so thank you. Your conversations, the two of you, and with Nate Taylor have totally helped me understand what I was trying to watch on the screen. So I love that. I also found 94 in Philly during that time, in 57. So I've listened to both of you guys ever since. And the interesting thing, I don't know if you ever check out Philly Sports Radio, but the Hugh Douglas show with Joe and Kyle, that crew had so much respect. It was one of the only places outside of Kansas City you could listen to people talk about the Chiefs this whole season and for this matchup. And they were poo-pooing the ref stuff. They had absolute respect for our team and absolute respect for this game coming up. And that was just so refreshing. So, and it's so great that you're taking calls. That's the one thing I miss about your show. It's I can call them whenever I want to and tell them what I think about stuff. And it adds a lot to the shows and the conversation. But I have to say, I think it's interesting. I think Mahomes and Hurts had really similar seasons. You know what I mean? They kind of actually came to this matchup with the exact same thing on the line. People were saying that we were washed, Mahomes isn't getting the numbers, and we're sitting here talking about Hurts' stats, and I think what happened yesterday, I kind of drink Seth, I think it's Seth Kaiser's Kool-Aid, who Nate does his Only Weird Games with, his film studies, but when we chose to stick with Tooney in tackle and take him out of all pro, Seth's math made sense to me. If we wanted to have a chance in the big game, if we had known we were playing the Eagles and playing this frickin' line, and we would have, I think we would have given Humphreys a chance to develop before this game. And maybe we never would have made it to the Super Bowl if we had done that. Maybe we couldn't make that adjustment in the postseason, but in a way I feel we kind of strategized ourselves into a corner. I believe that Humphrey it was amazing that he moved to tackle. I don't think he was an amazing tackle. I think he's an amazing guard, and I think Humphrey was a far better tackle than Caliendo was a guard. So I know you've had that conversation before, but I know hindsight is 20/20, and I'm sorry.
But Kristen, I appreciate the phone call. I don't think hindsight's that 20/20 on it. It's in the middle of the game. It was obvious it was not working at left tackle. It was obvious during the game it was not working. I appreciate the phone call. Thanks a lot for calling in. The thing I noticed while I was watching them is I think that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have bonded over the fact that nobody thinks that either of them is very good, yet they're both very, really good. That's what I picked up on. I picked up that Jalen Hurts has been doubted at every major step. Jalen Hurts was a starting quarterback of Alabama, and they benched him in the middle of a championship run. Just told him, you are not good enough to play quarterback at Alabama. He then got to the NFL. All people have done is tell you, hey, he's not good enough to play quarterback. He's not good to play quarterback. He's not good enough. And I'm imagining at some point Jalen Hurts looks up and he's like, I don't know what more I can do. My team won 14 games. We made it to the Super Bowl. I went head-to-head with Patrick Mahomes, and we lost. But they didn't lose that Super Bowl because Jalen Hurts wasn't good enough. They lost for other things. And Mahomes was a little bit better that day. I think that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are kind of two peas in a pod. I really do. I think they're two peas in a pod. They're both very, very good. Neither of them gets the respect for being very, very good. And they have bonded over we will show you. And there's no bigger stage to show people than where they were just at. You're going up against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in front of 120 million people watching for a chance to win the Super Bowl. And Nick Sirianni was better than Andy Reid yesterday. And Jalen Hurts was far better than Patrick Mahomes yesterday. And that's a major reason of why the Eagles won the Super Bowl. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll take your calls coming up at the top of the hour. I have an issue with DeAndre Hopkins. I'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Attention lovebirds. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Diamonds Direct has the gifts to wow your special someone. From dazzling diamonds and trending gold to vibrant gemstones, pearls, even timepieces. With hundreds of stunning styles under $1,000 and an exquisite collection of one-of-a-kind luxury pieces. Make your moment unforgettable. The best selection, value, and service are waiting for you. Make this Valentine's unforgettable with fine jewelry for every budget. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Casey's has 8 new coffee roasts that have been described as having rich aromatics that entice any palate. But, we're not sure what that means, so we just call it darn good coffee. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. Now get a small hot coffee for 99 cents. See Casey's for details.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And you've heard me talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk to you about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction. And if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating your low testosterone could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back the flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Heartland Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-469-1635. 800-469-1635. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-469-1635.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Hang out with Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, if you come back from break to talk about D-Hop's refs comments, please don't. You know he's mocking the media. He's not actually blaming the refs for the loss. Bro, after you get your ass whooped the way that the Chiefs do, you know what I don't want you doing up there on the podium? Mocking anybody. I don't want you mocking anybody. Now's not the time for the jokes, especially when you had a major drop during the game. Now's not the time to be, oh, well, what about now, bro? That ain't what I'm trying to hear from you. Not for a guy who's been doing this for a decade. Not for a guy who's playing the biggest game of his life and a guy who laid a complete and total egg in the game. Now ain't the time to get clever. Now ain't the time to get cute. Now ain't the time to be funny. This ain't the time for jokes. Not when you guys got pummeled the way that you did. Pummeled. And you haven't contributed to anything in the last 2 months. We've been giving D-Hop a pass for 2 months because he's old. That ends for this segment. I'm not giving D-Hop a pass for this. So, yes, maybe D-Hop was joking when he said this with the media. Maybe he was trying to be funny. Ha ha. Maybe he was trying to be a comedian. If you want to go be a comedian, go host Saturday Night Live. They're doing their 50th anniversary. You've been around for every single one of them. That's the time to get your jokes off and to be funny. Not when you just got pummeled in front of live television and you were wide open on one of the most important drives of the game and you alligator armed it. I don't want to hear the jokes from you, my boy.
You know, I saw a lot of things in the media about the refs, but obviously what y'all gonna say now about the refs and us when there was a lot of touchy calls? Are y'all gonna report that? Are y'all gonna talk about the refs now?
Bruh, stop it. Either you're trying to be cute and that's not the time or place for it, or you are complaining about the officials and the officials had nothing to do with that beatdown you got. Were the officials perfect? Of course not. I thought the A.J. Brown penalty was a penalty in the first quarter, and they were trying to make that a thing. Like, wait, like he extended his arm twice, and he was stiff-arming Trent McDuffie while the ball was in the air. You can't do that. It's a penalty. Like, I don't know why we were arguing it. And then I thought they had a makeup call with Trent McDuffie on Dallas Goedert for a ball that was clearly overthrown. Like, I'm not here to tell you the officiating was perfect. I'm telling you time and place. And whatever agenda you have or purpose you have, that ain't the time for it. It obviously didn't land the way you thought it was going to land. And that's the only cut that people, DeAndre Hopkins, do you know anything else that he said yesterday? I don't. It's the only thing that was circulating. So you weren't an effective communicator. Here's the thing about D-Hop before we get back to the phone lines. Number one, we all gave D-Hop a lot of passes. We did. We gave D-Hop a lot of passes. He has not been good the last 2 months of the season. And we have found different things to come up with why he hasn't been good the last 2 months. I'm sorry he hasn't been. Look at the numbers. Look at his contribution. Look at what he's done. He has not been good. And this is where I'll be critical on you guys because I don't think that you guys are fair when it comes to this kind of stuff, or you casually forget, and we kind of do this with the tight end too. You guys tell me all regular season that it doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. You only care about playoff contributions, that you don't care what they do in week 7 or week 8. You only care about January. Do you guys remember a play that D-Hop made this January? And I don't care about that fourth quarter touchdown that you had when the game was over. If you're telling me that the D-Hop trade was about one thing, how are you positioned to help the Chiefs in the postseason? How are you positioned to help this team win a championship? DeAndre Hopkins this postseason had 3 catches for 29 yards and a touchdown. He didn't help him. They traded a 5th-round pick for somebody who was sightseeing for the last month. Sightseeing. For the last month of games the Chiefs have had. He had 2 catches for 7 yards. He didn't have a catch against Houston. He had 1 catch for 18 yards against Buffalo. He had 2 catches for 18 yards. He has 1 game that he had more than 40 yards in their final 10 games. He was here long enough. I don't want to hear he was just, no. D-Hop was not good for the Chiefs. It was a bad trade. I don't regret them for making the trade. You take the chance. It didn't cost you a lot to do it. And it's a 5th-round pick. I'm now not going to go back and I'm not Rob. I'm not in the business of let's hoard every single pick. You don't need 19 picks going into the draft. Wheel and deal. Make moves. But the Chiefs traded something for DeAndre Hopkins. He gave you less than 35 yards the final month of the season. You traded for Joshua Uche. You wouldn't even let him dress out. You wouldn't let him dress out. You just gave 2 picks away. And we're all here laughing at Tennessee, and we should be. They got the number 1 overall pick. Oh, man, Kansas City got over on Tennessee. No, Tennessee knew they knew he was damaged goods. They knew he was a broken open box item, and they gave him to you and got something for him. He didn't help the last month and a half of the season. He didn't help him. He didn't help him. He was not good. C-Dot, he hasn't been targeted. You can't say that. On top of being with the team half of the season, you can't say that. He can't control when they throw him the ball. He's not open half the time. My biggest complaint with you guys is you guys just don't want to acknowledge when it's over. I've been telling you guys for a year and a half that it's over for Travis Kelce. Oh, you a hater. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You guys told me about playoff Travis. Playoff Travis did not appear for the final 2 games of the season. Didn't care in the regular season that he's down 40% in yards over the last year. Didn't matter then. Now in the postseason. Now Pat ain't throwing the ball. He ain't open. D-Hop is not running past anybody. I said this when they lost to Buffalo. The Chiefs don't have many offensive players that are in their prime. And yesterday it was obvious. Look at Philadelphia. Saquon Barkley, prime of his career. A.J. Brown, prime of his career. Devontae Smith, prime of his career. Dallas Goedert, prime of his career. Offensive line in their prime. You got Patrick Mahomes out here with Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce. You got the Madden 2001 team. D-Hop wasn't good. I'm sorry. I don't have a better way of putting it. I don't have a more articulate way of putting it. He was not good this season for the Chiefs. He played in 13 games for Kansas City. He had 465 yards and a handful of touchdowns. He wasn't good. And if you were saving him for the postseason, and that's why you weren't playing him that much in the regular season, well, when it got time to open it up, we opened it up. It wasn't nothing in there. It wasn't anything in there. He had less than 30 yards in 3 postseason games. It was trending this way toward the end, and we all were, Andy Reid's saving plays. Andy Reid's holding back. I mean, you can't show everything against Buffalo. I was here. Come on now. You know you were doing this last week. Come on, man. They're saving up plays. What plays did they have saved for DeAndre Hopkins? I didn't see them. I don't know what plays they had for D-Hop. They had a garbage time touchdown in the 4th quarter of a blowout is what they had drawn up for him. He wasn't part of their offense. That simple. Let's go to the phone lines. Big Al, how you doing, bro?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
Post-mortem, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, real quick on the D-Hop. Yeah, obviously on the highlights after the game, they said that could have been a touchdown if he just caught it. So, maybe it gets us back in the game. I don't know. I doubt it. We were getting blown out already by then. But the reason why I was calling in is I'm just sitting here mulling over the game, obviously being able to rewatch it. And I gotta get y'all's opinion on this. So the Chiefs coaches and everybody had 2 freaking weeks to literally study the Eagles, right? Knowing that their defensive line was, really good and their team was as well. And yes, you're right. Give kudos to the Eagles. I'll say that. They deserve to win. But I got to ask you guys, what, if we have 2 weeks and a lot of rest to prepare for that, and we know we've got issues on the left side, why wouldn't you change it up? Even the, media like yourselves were saying post game, why didn't the Chiefs try to run the ball? I'm not sure we could even run it, because I think we tried it a few times and literally got blown up in the backfield, but maybe that was just, bad part on the guards. But anyway, I wanted to listen to your opinion on that. I obviously still a Chiefs fan. I think we get a chance to go back and do it again. But man, it's just so frustrating when you go, we lose one game and then you show up like that in the Super Bowl. And I'm sure all of Kansas City is literally just like not real happy today.
Big Al, absolutely, man. I appreciate the phone call, man. Thanks a lot for calling in. I don't know what their plan was to run the football. I've been telling you guys for 2 weeks. And this isn't. I can pat myself on the back for some of these things. I'm not even patting myself on the back for this. We all have been watching Isaiah Pacheco for the last 2 months. Why Isaiah Pacheco was on the field twice as much as Kareem Hunt does not make sense to me based on what we have seen watching them. Kareem Hunt has been better than Isaiah Pacheco. I told you guys that 3 weeks ago that I was wrong. You guys have been saying that. Kareem Hunt was on the field. They ran 56 offensive plays. Kareem Hunt was on the field for 11 of them. It does not make sense to me, the usage that they had. I don't think that Kareem Hunt was a part of their game plan, which makes no sense to me because he helped you win the AFC Championship game. I don't think the Chiefs had a plan to run the ball yesterday. I don't think they had anything concrete to run the ball. They got discouraged from it early on in the game, and they went with what they know best. And what they know best is, Pat, save us. That's what they know best. When their offensive line is how it was yesterday, at times it feels like Andy just kind of throws his hands up and I don't know what to do. Hey, Pat, can you get us out of this jam? Pat couldn't get you out of the jam. He was part of why you got in that situation, and they just didn't have the infrastructure around him really in any level. They didn't have it at running back. They didn't have it at offensive line. They didn't have it at wide receiver to get them out of the problems that they had yesterday. They just got beat up from at every level of their offense yesterday. Let's take one more call before the break here. Scott, you called into the drive. Hey, Scott, how you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, my friend, and I know that there's mourning in Kansas City, but there is happiness in the state of Iowa. I actually predicted that Cooper DeJean would have a pick six. He came through for me. Pacheco, or if it was Hunt, very early in the game on a little flare pass, and he was just awesome. And last but not least, Caitlin Clark wanted to date Cooper DeJean, but Cooper has his sights on better women. But I'll listen off the air, brother. I'm just happy for my Hawkeyes.
All right, Scott. I don't know why Caitlin Clark had to catch that stray. I don't know what she did to get fired on like that.
By the way, such a big Hawkeye fan, pronounced the last name wrong the entire call.
Okay, I don't know why Clayton hadn't done anything to anybody. I was thinking that yesterday was officially the end of DEI. That's what I was thinking when I saw Cooper DeJean get that. I was thinking, bro, they really have moved fast during this new administration. They got DEI out of here in less than a month. Cooper DeJean getting pick sixes during Black History Month, bro. We've lost recipes. We lost recipes. That was an easy pick six too. I'm thinking, man, they got that out of here swift. That's what I was thinking. That's why he showed up yesterday at the game, to make sure that his plan was in action. And Cooper DeJean, he acted on it yesterday. Got Mahomes and the old Chiefs offense out of here. Cooper DeJean, rookie white corner from Iowa, got a pick six yesterday. I'm telling you, he's seen everything in the early part of 2025. We'll take more of your phone calls coming up on the other side. Plus, I have more things I want to complain about. I don't even want to give you some mysterious tease. Fox made their score board yesterday. They made it with Canva Pro yesterday. We'll talk about it. Embarrassing from Fox last night. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Winter is more than half over, and things are looking up. But before we start thinking about spring lawn care, I'd like to ask you to look up at your trees. This is Larry Ryan at Ryan Lawn and Tree. And right now, before the leaves fill in, is a great time to find and take care of old storm damage, remove dead branches, and carefully prune trees for better growth and storm resilience. Now is also when you can save 15% with our winter rates. Our team of master pruners and certified arborists is unmatched in both skill and care. And at Ryan Lawn and Tree, they're also employee owners. You're not just a customer, you're their customer. I think you'll be impressed with the difference that makes. So will your valuable trees. Take advantage of our winter rates and enjoy 15% off all tree services when you book before March 1st. Call today or book online at ryanlawn.com/tree.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. So even if you miss the first few minutes of the game or you want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can make your picks from the first whistle until the final buzzer. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join. New FanDuel customers get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to join today. That's FanDuel.com/Alex for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets with expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Matayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data, available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line Gold Unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Looking at a vehicle fire in Olathe, southbound 35, the exit to 169 highway, definitely stopping traffic. Other than that, a few slowdowns northbound 71 into the downtown loop. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
Spectre, our boss, told me that we can't talk about the Super Bowl today, or the halftime, I guess more specifically, because no one cares about it. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. But what I do want to talk about is I would really love, you know what? I will give someone a pizza for this. I know a guy. I'm the guy that can make this happen for you. I want to talk to somebody who was down at Power and Light because I just want to hear your story of the ending of it. Because, Rob, I don't know where you watched the game at or how many people were over or, what your plan was. Like, I don't know. But the Super Bowl party you're at when the home team is getting the beats down, that late third and the fourth quarter, miserable viewing experience. No one is happy. No one is having a good time. This is supposed to be a fun, festive time, especially when you hold it up against the light of what the last two have been. The last two have been great games going into the fourth quarter, edge of your seat, everybody's excited, and it was also the outcome that you wanted. This was basically from the time Kendrick Lamar left the stage until the end of the game, this was a foregone conclusion. Oh, they're not winning today. I told you guys when I thought they lost. I knew the game was over the second Patrick Mahomes interception. They got the ball back 17-0. It was 2 minutes left, and I'm thinking to myself, if they can just get some points here, they get the ball back right after halftime, and if they can score there and you get the double up, you get the double dip, you are in a decent spot. It's not ideal, and Philadelphia was playing much better than Kansas City, but the Chiefs have been down double digits. They've been down double digits in every single Super Bowl. So, like, them being down earlier, starting slow, it just wasn't really that much of a shock to me. Like, I was still pretty calm and cool about it. But when they got that interception and they then score a touchdown to go up 24-0 heading into the half, it did feel different. And then you look at the Chiefs, like, it wasn't like they really gave you a lot of – it wasn't like the Chiefs were, putting long drives together and then they fumbled at the red zone, and you're thinking, all right, well, they're moving the ball effectively. They just got to clean up a couple of things. No, they had to clean up everything. The analogy I'll give, and, many of us have been in this situation before, your parents leave you when you were like 14, 15 years old. But your parents tell you, hey, you need to get these things done. And then, Rob, you mess around the whole day, and next thing you know, you look up at the clock, and it's like 4:45 to go. What? Mom's coming home at 9. It's a 4:45. You're like, wait, there's too many things I have to do all at one time. I'm not gonna do this. I'm in trouble. That's what it is. I am in trouble. Is what it felt like yesterday. I have one question. I don't have many questions today, but I do have one question. Can you imagine what it was like for Travis Kelce to wear that get-up to the stadium? Nothing wrong with wearing that get-up to the stadium. Hey, if that's what you feel comfortable, I liked it, little 70s style, little Burt Reynolds joint. I didn't mind it. You didn't pack a pair of clothes that you gotta leave the stadium dressed like that. I didn't mind you wearing it to the stadium. You gotta now put those same clothes on to walk home? Nah, man, I can't do that. No. That's a walk of the shame I can't participate in. I don't want any parts of that. I don't want any parts of that. Someone on the text line says, "C-Dot, it looks like the Chiefs just went down to New Orleans to try the food." I don't know. It looked like they were having a great time. Patrick and his wife, they going on double dates with Travis and Taylor. It looked like they were having a great time. I genuinely don't think that this is the Chiefs didn't come out prepared. I don't think it's that. They've been in this game too many times. I don't think it was that. I think the Chiefs underestimated the Eagles' power. I think the Eagles hit them with a haymaker and a combination that the Chiefs haven't felt in a very long time. Philadelphia is not Buffalo. That team is better than Buffalo. They're not Baltimore. And the Chiefs do a pretty good job of taking everybody else's punch. You guys say it all the time. Well, we're this team's Super Bowl. Okay, yeah, no, you are. For a lot of teams. Hey, beating you makes their season. This was a team in the Super Bowl that is not in awe of anything that you've done. You guys might not want to hear this. And a lot of us heard this as excuses the last time. Philadelphia told you they thought their defensive line could beat you. And remember, it was, oh, well, we played on the same field that you guys played. Philadelphia feels like they should have won the last Super Bowl, but the conditions of the field weren't really conducive for their defensive line. That's how they feel. That's how they talked. Hey, our D-line wasn't our usual D-line because of the grass and turf. If we play this game somewhere else, we think we would win. And all the Chiefs fans laughed at them, deservedly so. Both teams played on the same. But after watching what their D-line did to the Chiefs, I kind of believe them. You don't make any excuses, no apologies. You don't do any of those things. But Philadelphia told us 2 Super Bowls ago, we think our defensive line can get after them. And the only reason we didn't was because of the field. And then they played this time on a perfect field, and their defensive line got after Kansas City's. Everybody. They got after Joe Thuney. They got after Mike Caliendo. They got after Creed Humphrey. They got after Trey Smith, who's about to sign a $21 million deal. Jawan Taylor is out there holding and grabbing. They beat all 5 of them up front. This isn't just a Mike Caliendo thing. Now, I wanted them to go to DJ Humphries and move Thuney over to the left side, back at left guard. I don't know if that fixes all of the problems. It at least makes me feel better. I want you to start doing things to make me feel better at that point. You might not win, but, man, I at least want to feel like you tried. I at least felt like you went down fighting. You went down swinging. You didn't go down swinging. But Philadelphia told us a couple of years ago that they felt this way about the Chiefs. Some of these things, I don't know if Chiefs fans want to hear it or not, but, think about the way that Tampa's defense talked about Kansas City's offensive line. Now, it was a different offensive line, but Tampa was doing a lot of yapping. We think we can do this to them, and they did it. Philadelphia, clearly. I don't think they respect the offensive line of Kansas City and their toughness. And I bet if to a man you ask them, I think that the Eagles probably feel like a lot of it's on paper. Because the Chiefs got good offensive linemen. Creed Humphrey, we're talking about him being in the Chiefs Ring of Honor. Trey Smith, maybe the best right guard in the league. Joe Thuney. It's not like the last time. The last time the Chiefs, they had a butter knife in a gunfight. They weren't equipped to win the fight. We all thought they were equipped to win this fight. We felt like they had enough to be able to win this fight, and they didn't. They were not close to having it. I don't think that was a fluke what Philadelphia did. I think they just match up well against Kansas City. I think their D-line matches up really well against Kansas City. They didn't blitz yesterday. They didn't blitz. We've been saying this now for years about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You got to be able to get pressure with your front 4. You play a cover 2 shell, and we don't think that Pat can beat you. There's not a lot of teams that have the infrastructure to do what Philadelphia did. So, yes, you can copy the sauce, so to speak, but you don't got the chefs. You don't have the things to do what I can do. Philadelphia has it. Tampa Bay had it. There's not a lot of defenses that have. You need to have a dominant defensive line. And if you can get pressure on Mahomes with 4, the way that Philly did, you can disrupt his timing and you can make him human. You make him a man. That's what happened. Drago bled for the first time in a long time. Pat looked at his lip and he had a cut and he didn't really know how to respond. Same thing for Travis Kelce. Same thing for their offensive line. Teams don't hit that hard against Kansas City. And you've been sharpening your skills against Carolina and winning those dog fights. And you beat more teams than that. You beat just about everybody this year. This is a team they are not afraid of Kansas City. They are not in awe of Kansas City. They think they're tougher than Kansas City. And football is a line of scrimmage game. That's what it is. It is a line of scrimmage game. And they felt like they could beat you up front. And they feel like they could beat your quarterback up front. One person was not changing what happened yesterday. I just wanted them to try to at least, we wouldn't even have to go with the question of it. I wanted to see what they were going to do with DJ Humphries, some acknowledgement of what they were doing wrong. We didn't get that yesterday, not at all. Let's go back to the phone lines, 913-586-7965. We have 3 people on hold. We will take all 3 of these calls. Michael in Chicago just called up. Michael, how you doing, my man?
C-Dot, it's been fun running with you this year. You've had a lot of takes. I've been ranting at the car over the few months, but you've come around. But I want to say we saw that we have great people. We have a great quarterback, a great coach, a great defensive coordinator, a great GM, but we don't have perfect people. You know, we saw their imperfections laid out yesterday. We saw our quarterback. His imperfection is that he bails too early when he isn't comfortable. He holds the ball and bails and depends on his run. He stops reading, and he stopped doing that. Our head coach does not. He abandons the run, even apparently in the game plan, when we should have been trying to get 2 yards and 4 yards to get to 3rd and 5 against that pass rush. We were running long routes and 7-step drops the whole game, right from the jump. We didn't even try to run. We saw a GM who can't solve the left tackle position, hasn't been able to do it. And the Sky Moore draft pick, really, that mess really came out. You know, you're talking about DeAndre, but we don't need DeAndre if we hit on the 2nd round pick in 2022. And then we saw our defensive coordinator. And the reason I think we're not playing Uche, although I don't know why we're trading for him, is because our defensive coordinator does not like smaller speed rush ends. He likes these big, fast, or big, strong guys to crush the pocket. Why the GM is trading for a speed rush end is beyond me, because our defensive coordinator doesn't like to play him. And so I think we saw the imperfections of, but we have great people, and we're going to be right back in it. And we just saw the imperfections all arrive at the same time against a team that could take advantage of all of them at the same time.
Michael, you know what? I 100% agree with you, man. I appreciate the phone call. The Chiefs, like most teams, like most people, the Chiefs have weaknesses. There are not many teams that are uniquely positioned to be able to challenge all of those weaknesses the way that Philadelphia did. Buffalo can maybe challenge some of those things. Baltimore can maybe challenge some of those things. Philadelphia was uniquely positioned to whatever you think the Chiefs struggle with, that's what they're really good at. That's what they're really good at. The one thing that I was wrong on a lot of things. The thing I was most wrong about is maybe the more effective way of saying this is when we kept talking about how the Eagles were better than the Chiefs at everything else. I don't think that I maybe understood the magnitude and scope of what everything else is. How do you attack Philadelphia? Like right now, if I bring you guys all into a room and we sit here and we are going to go through the game plan, what would you do to beat Philadelphia? Because I think the Chiefs did some of those things. Saquon Barkley did not hurt the Chiefs yesterday. He did not hurt him. Saquon Barkley does not have a play that I remember in the game. I have to go through my notes. He did not do anything to end Kansas City. They stopped him for the most part. If I tell you guys, well, hey, I have seen into the future. Saquon doesn't have a big run. Saquon doesn't run for 100 yards, and the Chiefs stop Saquon where he does not make a memorable play. Every single person listening says Chiefs win that game comfortably. This was not Philadelphia beat you because Saquon was special day. That's happened to some people. What's happened is Saquon just went off, just went crazy. That's what happened to Washington last week. That's what happened to the Rams a couple of weeks ago. Saquon was Saquon. He wasn't in this. They beat you because their team is better than your team from top to bottom. From top to bottom. Watching these two teams play each other, where do you think Kansas City has the advantage? And I think they have the advantage at quarterback. I think they have it at coach. But if both of them perform poorly at their job, it kind of results in what we saw. I don't know where you attack Philadelphia. I don't want to make it seem like they're perfect or they're the best team. That Philadelphia is just really good at everything. Their quarterback's really good. Their running back's really good. They've got very good pass rushers. Their offensive line is great. Their defensive line is great. They have built a very complete, very well-rounded roster. I don't know if you give them an A+ at everything. It's hard to give them less than a B+ at anything, not based on what I saw. I mean, they have two rookie corners. Like, I'm looking at Cooper DeJean. He's a rookie. Quinyon Mitchell, a rookie. They're developing guys. They've lost their offensive and defensive coordinator over the last couple of seasons. They just replaced them. They're about to lose their offensive coordinator again. Knowing them, they'll just replace them. Philadelphia is a much better organization than I think people like me, people in Kansas City gave them credit for. Much better. I was wrong on Philadelphia. Flat out, I was wrong. I don't know if it was NFC. We don't watch them as much this year. I felt like I watched enough Eagles this year to have a really good feel for what they were. It was the perfect storm. Sometimes we talk about styles making fights. The Eagles' style does not make for a good fight with Kansas City. They beat them 2 years ago in the regular season at home. They just dominated them in the Super Bowl, and they matched up very well against them in Super Bowl 57. And with a defense that was fully healthy, well-rested, 2 weeks to prepare, they still couldn't stop Jalen Hurts, who hit him for over 100 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. They still didn't have an answer for Devontae Smith. They still didn't have an answer for A.J. Brown. The Eagles deserve a lot of credit for how they played and how well they played and how well they match up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go to the phone lines, 913-586-7965. Donnie called into the show today. Hey, Donnie, how you doing today, my man?
Hey, what do you say, brother? I've had better days, but still the sky isn't necessarily falling on me.
No, for sure.
Well, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. You said, how do you beat Philly? Well, I got a wild idea. You start by protecting the quarterback. I mean, that'd be number one. Expose the rookie DBs and don't turn the ball over. Other than that team yesterday, man, they looked pretty good. But I wanted to touch on something. He said, Philly matches up well with us. Well, this is how they match up. They got the number one defense in the league. They got 2 number one wide receivers. They got the number one running back in the league, top 5 tight end in the league, top 5 offensive line in the league. And then they say, oh, well, you know what? Who gives Pat Mahomes problems? Let's just go ahead and bring in Vic Fangio to try to match up well with Pat Mahomes in the playoffs, or however you want to get at him. So it took a lot. It took a lot to put together this team, who might be one of the best playoff teams we've seen in recent history. But I want to touch on a point that you had said earlier, and so somebody had called in and tried to give some baloney about it being rigged. But here's the reality of the situation. This is how you beat the Chiefs. This is how you beat the greats. You rush 4, you get home with 4. So, this is what they've always said about Tom Brady when he went up against those lackluster, I might say, Giants teams. They rushed 4, they got home. That's just what it is. But I think as far as the Chiefs moving forward, the O-line by committee has to die. It has to die with this, team. I think we can all see it now. We've got enough data that Pat is 1,000% worse when he doesn't trust his left tackle. And I think we saw that kind of transpire during that game. Philly had 2 weeks to look at Joe Thuney and say, oh, hey, we're just going to bull rush this guy. He's not long enough to keep up with Sweat over there on the end. And then at some point, I'm going to leave you 2 thoughts. At some point, we need to talk about the offensive fall off after EB left. Old dictator EB too hard on the players, and Nagy came in. And then let me ask you a question, C-Dot. Is the only person in America who's having a worse day than Pat Mahomes, Nick Wright? I'll listen off the air.
I appreciate the phone call. I was thinking that as I was watching the Chiefs get pummeled. I was like, I don't want Nick Wright's phone right now. That thing was probably radioactive, the way people were talking to him yesterday. I don't want to make it seem like the Chiefs don't have a great foundation. They obviously have an incredible foundation. They do. I do think that, and I've thought this for a while, I think that the Chiefs have gotten very comfortable with Pat and the offense and not maybe taking care of it the way that they should. And it's beyond offensive line. I've been saying this now for 2 years. The Chiefs are asking Patrick to do things that no other team is asking their great quarterback to do. Their number one running back played 11 snaps. He played 11 snaps. Their number one running back is Kareem Hunt. They were outgunned at running back. Saquon was not super expensive. And I'm not saying the Chiefs would have got him. He wasn't super expensive. He was $12 million. That's nothing for a player of his caliber with what he provides you. At wide receiver, they've done better than you at skill position players. They traded for A.J. Brown. They paid him. I do think that for some of the pieces and parts around Mahomes that are very important, they've tried to go bargain basement and tried to make up for it in other areas. They don't have enough dogs on offense. They don't. And we applaud Veach for the 1-year bargain basement, prove it level deals. Yesterday, one quarterback just had more than you had. They had more. They had more at running back. They had more wide receiver. They have a better tight end than you have. They have more things around you. Early on, you gave Mahomes prime Travis Kelce, prime Tyreek Hill. You went out, you spent money on Sammy Watkins. You had Kareem Hunt. You used to have that kind of offense. You had an offense that, hey, you know what? We don't need our offensive player of the year running back to be special. If you take that out of the game, it's cool. We'll throw it to a guy that won the Heisman Trophy. We'll throw it to a guy in A.J. Brown that's the top 5 receiver in the National Football League, arguably. The way that they've built their team, I do think that they have gotten very comfortable with pieces. Well, we can have this 7th-round running back, and, well, you know what? We'll sign Hollywood Brown to a 1-year, $5 million deal. We don't really need a number 1 wide receiver. You know what? At left tackle, why don't we try to – no. You got to spend money on the important things in the National Football League. You got to spend money on those things. They cost to do those things. They cost to do them. You either got to draft exceptionally, not starters, draft exceptionally well or pay in free agency for those things. So the biggest thing that I have is you gotta get back to investing in resources. You got to get back to investing on left tackle. You got to get back to spend a 2nd-round pick on a running back. Spend the 21st overall pick on a wide receiver and try to create one of the best rooms and best duos in the National Football League. You got to go back to really investing in the parts around your quarterback. And this year, this team was trying to do it with a 35-year-old tight end and a 32-year-old wide receiver, an often injured Juju Smith-Schuster, and a running back that wasn't invited to anybody's training camp in week 1. The fact that they got to this far with the pieces is a testament to how good Patrick Mahomes is. And they never had a left tackle at any point this season. Never at one point this season they have a left tackle. It's hard to overcome those things, especially in the Super Bowl where the opposition, they have all of those things. They have a running back. They have the wide receivers. They have the tight end. They have Lane Johnson. They have all of these things. They have them and you don't. And that's why they beat you yesterday. They beat you with those pieces yesterday. The same way that you have turned those pieces against Buffalo and used those pieces to beat the Bills, the Eagles have been better than you at getting those things, and they've used those pieces against you, and that's why they dominated you yesterday. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. So even if you missed the first few minutes of the game or you want to bet that amazing fourth quarter comeback, you can make your picks from the first whistle until the final buzzer. Plus, you can even combine your bets into a same-game parlay for a shot in an even bigger payout. However you want to play, right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. Just remember my promo code KFNZ to get started today at your chance at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expires 7 days after street restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Art Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
This Valentine's Day, fall in love with Hy-Vee. The classic dozen roses, just $19.99. Avoid the restaurant hassle and treat your Valentine to a home-cooked meal featuring bacon-wrapped filet, salad, bakery fresh baguette, twice-baked potatoes, vegetable, and dessert for just $35 a couple. Top it off with your favorite bottle of wine or spirits from Hy-Vee's wide selection. One stop makes this Valentine's Day the sweetest ever, only at Hy-Vee.
I love Hy-Vee for so many different reasons, but one of the things I love most about Hy-Vee is their customer service. Everyone that works at Hy-Vee is awesome. And you know what else I love about Hy-Vee? I don't have to sacrifice quality and service to get low prices. Hy-Vee just dropped the price on thousands of items in every aisle, in every department, on items I buy every day, both in-store and online. Hy-Vee even match prices with the nation's biggest discount stores. So check out Hy-Vee today and get those low prices only at Hy-Vee.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly! Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This report is brought to you by CareNow Urgent Care. Find one near you at carenow.com.
CareNow Urgent Care has 15 Kansas City area locations open 7 days a week. From injuries and illnesses to school and sports physicals, CareNow Urgent Care is here to help you feel better fast. Find a location near you at carenow.com and use our convenient web check-in today.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Two-car crash southbound 435 at the on-ramp from 87th Street, stopping traffic. Looking at a stalled-out car eastbound 435 right at Quivira, though that is on the shoulder. Seeing some brake lights into downtown via northbound 35 and northbound 71. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Trent McDuffie. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I don't know why television networks have decided this. I really don't know. I would love to hear a good answer. None of us have ever been watching the football games on Fox and come to the conclusion that we didn't like the way that they presented the score. We've never done that. Yet, they are constantly changing it for whatever reason. I don't really get why they change it this way. I don't know why it's so important to them to change it. I'm fine with the way that they show the score. Like I'm more than fine with how they do it. But we have the Super Bowl. We got to have a different broadcast. The score bug was so goofy looking. I'm serious. It was incredibly goofy looking. It looked like somebody had made it on Canva. And I'm not hating on Canva. I'm really not. I've used Canva before. If you've ever done anything creative, you've been on there before. It just looked low rent. It looked low budget. It looked cheap. You guys have spent $40 million. They spent $40 million just for Tom Brady to go up there and talk about nonsense. I thought Tom was bad yesterday. I thought he was bad. I really do. I think that Tom was bad yesterday. They've spent a lot of money on these other things. Why not just leave the score how it was? We watched the score this way for 20-something weeks on Fox, and no one ever complained. Why did you need to change it? What was wrong with it before? Maybe you guys liked it. 913-586-7965. I didn't like it. I thought it looked goofy. I thought it was genuinely low-key goofy is how it looked. I thought it was nonsense. And I just want them to go back to how it used to be. It looked like a local broadcast is what it looked like, and not the Super Bowl. I don't know why they have to tinker with these things. It was fine. We watched it all season, and it was okay. No one ever complained. We've all watched games on Fox. Why did you have to change the score? Why did it look that way? You didn't ask anybody's opinion. You didn't reach out to anybody. Okay, what do I know? I just talk on the radio. I don't know anything. 913-586-7965. There was a bright spot in the game. I don't know if you guys will see the bright spot, but I do have a bright spot. I like to share it with you. We'll do that in a bit. Let's keep taking phone calls. 913-586-7965. Hunter called into the show. Hunter, how you doing today, my man? I appreciate you calling in.
Not well, C-Dot, not well. I'm probably, the only token Chiefs fan out here in Connecticut, born and raised, so I am getting absolutely cooked out here, my dude. I am, for friends, family, I'm just getting cooked. But I'm just a little bit confused on how this all happened, because you take a look at the Chiefs' offensive line. We managed to get through this season with Joe Tooney, and DJ Humphries, and I just don't understand. Are we that far off from, let's say the Commanders? The Commanders made it a little bit of a game, but, I just don't understand how this unraveled so quickly. And then just the future is a little bit daunting because, as you said before, too, we're picking at the end of the draft. We don't have a lot of opportunity to make moves. We still got to sign a bunch of guys. I saw a tweet from Adam Schefter. We have, 12 guys to sign. So it's just, I don't know, everyone's catching up, and today's a bit of a brutal day. This definitely hurts a lot more than the Tampa Super Bowl just because, it was kind of expected by them. But going into this game, we all said it all week. Chiefs have an opportunity. If they have the ball at the end of the game, we got a shot, but it just never materialized. It was brutal.
No problem, Hunter. I appreciate the phone call, man. I think the thing about this one is that you kind of have to sit with a little bit more is Chiefs fans have they have put an asterisk by the first Super Bowl loss, and they have simply forgotten about the first Super Bowl loss. It's like the game never happened. People don't talk about it anymore. It happened during a weird time. It was during COVID. Maybe your Super Bowl party wasn't the same. The crowd, it feels like the Super Bowl that never happened. And I think the Chiefs fans were able to kind of put that game into a place where it doesn't really hurt you and it never really gets brought up anymore. You got to sit with this one. This was the one you really, really wanted. And there is no excuse for this one. You had the built-in excuse in the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. Well, we didn't have our left tackle. Well, we didn't have our right tackle. If we had them, we would have won. We beat you in the regular season. That you could kind of sit with that. It was a weird COVID Super Bowl, and they've won so much since then that Chiefs fans, it has kind of been that don't ask, don't tell policy about that game. You cannot do this with this one. Not with the anticipation from this one, not with the buzz, not with the significance of this one. There's no running from this one. You just got beat. And that's the thing that hurts more than anything. I think you could live if it was a close game. If the Chiefs had looked like themselves and just gotten beat on a last-second field goal, I think a lot of people, you would just tip your cap and say, eventually it was going to happen. You weren't going to win these one-score games for forever. That's not what happened. That was BTA is what it was yesterday, from start to finish. And this time, you got to sit with this one very differently than how you guys sat with the Tampa Bay one. We never talk about how they lost in the Tampa Bay one, and it happened again. Lightning did, in fact, strike twice, and you can't blame this one on Mike Remmers. No, this ain't Mike Caliendo's fault. This is everybody's fault. This is Andy's, Patrick, Travis, Taylor. This is everybody's fault. Everybody contributed. If you had on Chiefs apparel yesterday, you contributed to what I saw them do yesterday. Let's go back to the phone lines. Jacob called into the show. Hey, Jacob, how you doing, man?
Having a long drive back from New Orleans. It sucks that happened yesterday, obviously. I personally thought, after the halftime show, third quarter, that things would turn. But after seeing the first drive and them not getting a whole lot, they kind of changed some things. And nothing too as well that was pretty bad was inside the stadium. It was 10-1 Eagles fans. We were outnumbered by a bunch. And you know how Eagles fans are. So it was devastating. It is what it is. But we'll go back next year. One thing I'm worried about, and there's a lot of free agents from O-line to our defense, wide receivers. There's a lot of people that are not going to be here. So we have to draft really well this next draft. Hopefully find some good players. Hopefully we can keep the players we have now. But my question for you is how do you think we're going to rebound? How is Brett Beach going to rebound and build a team that will get back to it next year? I know it's going to be hard, but I just wanted to see what you thought, C-Dot.
No problem, Jacob. I appreciate the phone call. I want to spend more tomorrow and Wednesday talking long-term for the Chiefs. Yes, to answer your question, I don't want to not answer your question. Step one for me would be extending Joe Thuney to get his cap number down, and I would spend real money and real resources on left tackle. That's what I would do. That's step one and step two. You have been trying to figure this thing out for the last couple of years and just, we can do it with this guy and we can bring in Donovan Smith and no. Spend real resources on addressing left tackle. They also missed on right tackle. They tried to do that with right tackle. They spent a lot of money on Juwan Taylor. I do not care what Pro Football Focus is telling me. I'm watching the game with my eyes. He ain't that good. He's not been that good. They missed. They missed on left and right tackle for the season. They missed. Juwan Taylor is one of the 5 highest paid players on their team. You ain't getting that level of production. You're not getting that level of production from that position group. And that was one of the big problems with yesterday. Coming up on the other side, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. That's next. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
2-car crash southbound 435 at the on-ramp from 87th Street, stopping traffic. Looking at a stalled out car eastbound 435 right at Quivira, though that is on the shoulder. Seeing some brake lights into downtown via northbound 35 and northbound 71. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
Attention lovebirds. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Diamonds Direct has the gifts to wow your special someone. From dazzling diamonds and trending gold to vibrant gemstones, pearls, even timepieces. With hundreds of stunning styles under $1,000 and an exquisite collection of one-of-a-kind luxury pieces. Make your moment unforgettable. The best selection, value, and service are waiting for you. Make this Valentine's unforgettable with fine jewelry for every budget. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Casey's has 8 new coffee roasts that have been described as having rich aromatics that entice any palate. But, we're not sure what that means, so we just call it darn good coffee. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. Now get a small hot coffee for 99 cents. See Casey's for details.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-359-3434. 800-359-3434.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 5.25% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for K-State Athletics. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, this is what we'll do. I'm going to talk about Patrick Mahomes for 10 minutes, and then we'll get back to taking your phone calls. If you are on hold at any point in the 4 o'clock hour, I promise you I will take your call. I want to give you guys windows to chime in and let us know what you think about Super Bowl 59. Can I get the positive thing out of the way? The throw that Patrick Mahomes made to Xavier Worthy is the best throw that he's made in his career. That is a remarkable throw. Something that will be completely forgotten. Something that we will never discuss again after today. But go back and watch it. And the degree of difficulty it is, and then really think to yourself, how many players in the league do you think can complete that pass? Because that ball was thrown on a rope. Yesterday. I don't want to spend too much time because Mahomes was not good yesterday, and he picked a very bad time to play one of his 3 worst games that we've seen of his career. But I at least got to acknowledge that touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy, the second one, the first one was also pretty impressive too. But that second one, that is a incredible throw from number 15. That's number 1. Number 2, can we stop the greatest of all time conversations? I'm not saying that Pat is or is not the greatest quarterback of all time. If you think that he is, cool. If you think that he's not, that's fine. I don't want to argue and debate it anymore with anybody. I don't want to continue to do this after every high, every low. I don't care to do this anymore. I'm making a new rule. After today's show, we're not talking about it anymore. I'll let you know when I want to talk about it again. I don't care anymore. The answer right now is no. The answer next year will be no. I'm not saying it's Pat's fault, but at some point, perception becomes reality. They've been blown out in their 2 Super Bowl losses. He's played poorly in their 2 Super Bowl losses. You can't play your two worst games in the Super Bowl and then try to convince neutral parties that that is the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen. That's not how this thing works. Yes, Patrick is amazing. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the 5 greatest players that we've ever seen before. All of those things are true. I don't want to hear any more greatest. I don't want, well, Brady lost it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want any more. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I'm out. This was the game to really heat up those conversations. You've kind of had a couple of those games. We were saying this after the Tampa Super Bowl. Hey, you're going up against Brady. You win 2 this early in your career. The pace is still amazing. It is. They've played in 5 Super Bowls. He's won 3 of them. Everybody's lost Super Bowls aside from Joe Montana. If you play in enough of these, you will lose them. If anything, it should give you an appreciation for how hard it is and how crazy it is that Tom went to 5 more of these. It's hard to get to this point. So again, I'm not here telling you that I think Pat is the greatest. I'm not telling you that I don't think Pat. I just, at this point, I'm exhausted by the conversation of, is Pat the greatest quarterback of all time? For right now, let's table those conversations. And you know what? At the end of the decade, I'm happy to have them. In 2030, we can come back and we can have this conversation. But for right now, it's a no for me. That's what it is. It's a no. He's top 3, sure. Nothing wrong with being top 3. They've been blown out twice in the Super Bowl. I don't want to talk about they have the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't. Okay, that's it. So I don't want to belabor this point. Let's move on. The last point, Rob, is I think we know what Patrick Mahomes' weaknesses are as a player. And this sounds really bad for someone that I believe is a very good teammate and seems to genuinely care about his teammates and the people that he is around. I don't think that Patrick has a lot of trust all the time in some of his teammates. And if you exhibit or give him a reason to not trust you, it affects his game entirely. We've talked about that. It's obvious when it comes to wide receiver who Pat likes and who he doesn't like, who he trusts and who he doesn't trust. And if he doesn't trust you, it's going to be real hard for you. It's going to be real difficult on the Chiefs' offensive line, and they got really physical with them, and they got really physical with Patrick. And I don't think the offensive line responded very well. I don't think Pat's been the golden boy. He has been the golden boy. Whatever Pat wants to do on the football field, he usually can do. I'll run around. I'll make these plays. I'll throw it underhanded. I can do just about everything. Philly had the mindset of, nope, not today. And I really think that Philly pushed back in a way that made everybody comfortable. I say this all the time when things are good. The teams take on the personality of their leader. The Chiefs' leaders yesterday seemed like they wanted no part of what Philadelphia had. I didn't get that sense from Andy. I didn't get that sense from Patrick. I didn't get that sense from Travis. The body language was off yesterday. Travis is usually the encourager, going around, hyping guys up, getting guys fired up. They had that misconnection early in the first quarter of the game that I thought it was a bad throw from Patrick, and Travis's body language looked defeated the rest of the day. He had his shoulders hunched. He was walking around. He got hit. Remember that time where he got hit, and then he got up, and he was all like, go back and look at that play again, and then look how the Philadelphia player is standing there. Standing there like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Football's physical. It's also mental, too. Philadelphia had a mental edge over Kansas City yesterday, a mental edge. They got physical with the Chiefs' 2 biggest superstar players, and the Chiefs just didn't look prepared for a fight. Patrick didn't look prepared for a fight yesterday. Travis didn't look prepared for a fight yesterday. Neither one of them. Maybe you guys saw something different. 913-586-7965. I promise you we'll take your calls after the break. That's what I saw. I saw a team that feels like they can exploit what Patrick doesn't do well. I saw them execute that flawlessly yesterday, and I didn't see a team that really had much of a counter. They went in with their first 15 scripted plays. Those plays did not work. And I saw a Chiefs team, which we rarely see when they get down. I saw them panic and act frantic is what I saw. That's what I saw. Rob, what'd you see?
I mean, I was watching the game with my wife, and early going, to your point, I felt like the Chiefs were frazzled and they looked in trouble early. Actually, up until the Brian Cook interception, I felt like, oh no, this could be real bad, because at no point did the Chiefs look ready for a battle. I don't know if it's because the Eagles didn't talk leading into the game or there's no bad blood, but in the first 5 minutes of the Bills game, you knew, oh, the Chiefs are ready for that fight. In the first 5 minutes of the Texans game, hey, the Chiefs are ready. Here we go. In the first 5 minutes of the Eagles game, it felt like, man, are the Chiefs mentally in Cancun? What is going on? They did not look locked in at all. And I was hopeful that Brian Cook pick would maybe jolt some life into them. But, man, once Cooper DeJean took that pick six, it felt over. It felt like this offense can't get to 20. It felt like this offense can't get past midfield. It felt like it was a pick-your-score day for the Eagles. And we talk a lot about this in college football, way more so than the pros. But you know how, like, when a big SEC or Big Ten team takes on a lesser opponent, how it's like, oh, they have the scheme advantage, but they just get bullied around for 4 quarters? What happened with SMU and Penn State? That's what it felt like with the Chiefs last night. Hey, they got a nice scheme, they got a good coach, they got a great quarterback, but when you get mauled at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, they're not competing. And they got mauled on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage, and it felt like watching the SMU versus Penn State game or the Hawaii versus Georgia game. Yeah, I mean, the one team has just more dogs in the front seven, and that's the end of the game.
I saw a Chiefs team yesterday that offensively, I don't think they really knew what they could rely on or what they could do. I think the Chiefs came out with their same little cutesy energy. First play, Xavier Worthy goes in motion. They fake like they're going to throw it to him out of the backfield. They throw it over the middle to Juju Smith-Schuster. Little did we know that was going to be the best pass play they ran for the next 25 minutes or so. You remember that play. You're like, oh, okay, all right, Chiefs coming out here with the necessary energy. I think like most teams, the Chiefs go into a game thinking, we know we can do this. We can execute this. I think they tried to execute those things. They were not there, and they got shell-shocked. They didn't have a plan B for really anything that happened in yesterday's game. Coming up on the other side, if you are on hold, we will take your phone call, 913-586-7965, 913-586-7965. We are getting your reaction to Super Bowl 59 as the Eagles put a hurting on the home team. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Fellas, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive. You know that feeling when you wake up energized and you're ready to attack the day? But what if you're not getting that feeling anymore? You're not feeling like yourself. What if you have low energy, weight gain, a lack of motivation? This has become an everyday thing for you. Well, this could be something simple. It could be low testosterone, and you're not alone. Trust me, many men experience this as they get older. The good news is you don't have to accept it. There is help out there, and it all starts with a simple consultation with my friends at Heartland Men's Health. For just $99, you can get a quick blood test and personalized advice from a team of experts. No judgment, just support. Don't wait. Pick up the phone and change your life today by either going on the website and visit heartlandmenshealth.com or calling this number, 844-447-6600 to schedule your consultation. Feel like yourself again because you deserve it. Heartland Men's Health, your partner in better living.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Jewelry, Graham? It's your friends at Shane Company here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. It's the most romantic day of the year to give and get fine jewelry. We have expertly crafted gifts for every type of sweetheart. For the one, we'll help you propose with the dream engagement ring. Come see our wide selection of hand-picked natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. In stock and ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Or maybe you'll fall in love with the natural, colorful gemstone. At Shane Company, we're known for our sapphires in every color of the rainbow. We have options for every style and budget. Get creative and design a custom necklace with meaningful charms, including 14-karat gold letters, engravable hearts, and birthstones. Our mother-of-pearl heart-shaped collection makes a perfect gift that's ready to give. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty, everyday competitive prices, and no-pressure shopping experience. Come see us in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic is brought to you by National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic at the KC Convention Center, March 7th through 9th. Some brake lights into downtown via northbound 35, and then you see a stalled car as soon as you get into that downtown loop, northbound 71, right at 70. Pheasants Forever National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic is coming to the Kansas City Convention Center this March 7th through 9th. Join us for puppy and dog training seminars, a youth village for kids, and more than 400 unique exhibitors. More information at pheasantfest.org. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Justin Reed. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home of Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. Now, this might be the one topic that I believe is a little hindsight 2020, and that's perfectly fine. You can do that after you lose the Super Bowl, how they lost it. I think you can play the hindsight 2020 game just a little bit. And if you're on hold, I promise you we'll take your calls. They're coming up momentarily. I do want to talk to Rob about this. A lot of the moves that the Chiefs made throughout the season to address some of the cracks in the roster, they didn't really help the Chiefs yesterday. I know the Chiefs were winning in the regular season, but we were all watching these games. The Chiefs were showing signs of flaws and weakness. And the Chiefs, I thought pretty retroactively, were trying to address them. They had a running back issue. They tried to address it with Kareem Hunt. He played in 11 snaps yesterday and got the ball 3 times. I just don't know what you can expect to do if you don't get an opportunity. He didn't really get an opportunity. They realized they had an issue at left tackle. They signed DJ Humphries. They refused to put him in the game yesterday. They refused. There came a point where I think the masses wanted you to at least try something different. Whatever your plan was to slow down that Philly front four, it was not working. And the Chiefs continue to try to squeeze a square peg into a round hole for the entire evening. You cannot block them up front. They couldn't. Tomorrow, if the Chiefs and Eagles played each other, if the Chiefs kept doing the same thing they were doing at offensive line, a similar result would happen. They could not block them. They didn't send a blitz. The Eagles defense got more pressure on that game by pressure rate than Tampa Bay did. They got pressure on 52% of dropbacks from the Chiefs. They lived in the backfield. They set up houses and hotels in the backfield. So you brought in Kareem Hunt. You didn't use him in the Super Bowl. You brought in DJ Humphries. He might as well have been in street clothes. You didn't see him. You brought in Joshua Uche. He hasn't played for the Chiefs in 2 months. You brought in DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has 36 yards receiving the last month of the season. Steven Nelson. I forgot what Steven Nelson looks like. I don't know if he could have helped you a whole lot, but you brought him in. You didn't do anything. A lot of the pieces that when we were having these conversations, and I know the Chiefs are winning these regular season games, and why are we talking about this? Be positive, be positive. Okay, cool. I'm cool to play along with that. I'm here to be positive. But we have to at least acknowledge the Chiefs knew that some of these things were weaknesses all season long. They tried to address some of those weaknesses, and none of them helped them in the most important game of the year. They got nothing. They got nothing from D-Hop. They got nothing from DJ Humphries. They got nothing from Kareem Hunt. And those are all areas where Philadelphia is actually really strong at. Philadelphia is really good at left tackle. They got one of the best left tackles in the National Football League. Philadelphia is really good at running back. They have the best running back in the National Football League. Where would you say D-Hop is? Their second, third wide receiver? Whatever it is, I guess, for Kansas City. Philadelphia is really good at that. You needed help on the D-line. Philly's got Uche. He couldn't play on Philadelphia's team. Literally, he's not good enough to be on that defensive line. There's no spot for him on that D-line. He wouldn't even be on their practice squad. Some of this has to be how this team is constructed. When you get beat like this, it makes you question everything. It makes you question offensive coordinator and who's calling the plays. It makes you question the person that put that team together. Some of the things that the Chiefs showed us yesterday, we knew were weaknesses all season long, and they just simply managed those weaknesses all along. Philadelphia was perfectly aligned in order to attack those weaknesses. And when you called in reinforcements, which you're allowed to do over the season, you get a trade deadline, you can add free agents, you can add players to your team. You didn't get anything from those pieces. So you couldn't run the ball. Your big wide receiver acquisition was non-existent. You added a pass rush to kind of help you try to slow down Jalen Hurts. He couldn't play in the game. You added a corner. He didn't play at any point this season. A lot of the moves to try to fix some of the issues, they remained issues all through the season.
It is one of those things where winning cures all, but when the winning stops, you start noticing it. I feel like, noticed during the season. We talk all the time on this show about there are April and May problems, and there are January, December problems. The problems the Chiefs had were March, April, May problems, and they just kept putting Band-Aids on and hoping it would work, and they kept winning. DeAndre Hopkins, at 30-something-year-old, with Zach Bingham in Tennessee, who told us that he has either sprained or torn MCL, is not a solution to your wide receiver problem. Hollywood Brown, who came back from a bad injury in the preseason, but came back with, 2 games left the regular season to play? Yeah, that's better than nothing, but he is not a cure-all for your wide receiver problems. They tried everything at left tackle. They tried Kingsley, they tried Wanye, they tried Tooney, they kind of tried Humphries. None of it was working. there are other spots where you'd like, oh, it's just not working. The injury to Watson. Now, he returned, but he didn't look like himself since returning. All those holes, they kept Band-Aiding over. And the winning made people think, see, that's the solution. Joe Thuney, that's a solution. Hey, look, DeAndre Hopkins, that's a solution. Kareem Hunt, that's a solution. They kept putting Band-Aids over these problems. And the Eagles game highlighted that they were Band-Aids and not solutions.
Yeah, and I guess we're saying the same thing. I don't want to make it sound like we disagree, though, is the one team that has been better at player acquisition and player development is the team you are playing. They're better at that than you are. You're good at a lot of things. You're really good at player acquisition. You have built a roster that they have won 23 of their last 25 games. I know it sounds like the sky is falling. The Chiefs are still they were the second best team in the NFL this year. They were really, really good. But I think what you saw, at least in the game on Sunday, is for some of the key positions, some of the really important positions, Philadelphia was light years ahead of you in those things. Think about left tackle. Philadelphia drafted their left tackle. They didn't get him in the first round. He was a 7th-round international player that they have found. They found him. They developed him. And they've turned him into one of the 5 best left tackles in the National Football League, while for the last 2 years you have been unable to figure that out. One team thinks that it is important enough to invest in running back. You guys don't think it's important to invest in running. You invest in other things. They went out and got Saquon Barkley for what it is to get a 3rd-string wide receiver. And look what they got. When it goes to D-line, pass rush, they've developed that better than you've developed it over the last couple of years. Now, some of it was high draft picks, but you've developed some of those things. The Chiefs are really good at developing corners. Philadelphia is better at developing corners. They had 2 rookies playing in their secondary yesterday. Cooper DeJean is a rookie. Quinyon Mitchell is a rookie. You played the one team that one of your strengths has been finding diamonds in the rough, development. You played against the one team that is better at that than you are. And their players showcased it on the absolute highest stage. And when they brought in reinforcements, like they brought in Saquon Barkley, that player has moved the needle in a tremendous way where, at least in the moves that you made during the middle of the season, I don't want to equate that all the way to Saquon Barkley. Those moves did not help you yesterday. They did not help you get there. This team looked for a solution at left tackle late in the season. They got less than 50 snaps of that player when this team, in hindsight, they really needed DJ Humphries to work. They really needed it to work. You put Joe Thuney back at his normal position. You got a former All-Pro, Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. You can solidify that thing, and you could see the cracks in the armor where you messed up a couple of times at left tackle. You messed up on O-line, and it was a serious problem for you that you just didn't have enough solutions to try to fix every single problem that you had yesterday, and that's resulted in you just getting the absolute beats yesterday. Let's go to the phone lines, 913-586-7965. We'll take calls here. Ken, you calling into the drive. Hey, Ken.
Hey, see that?
Hey, Ken.
Just a couple of things that I want to observe on you. How you doing?
Doing good.
I know you're trying to recover, recoup from yesterday. Hey, listen, man, a couple of things that I noticed at the game yesterday. I think they're over party on Saturday night. They did too much. They have a hangover that comes to the game Sunday and they couldn't function. And then the Buccaneer game is just like the same thing. Patrick was running around with his head like a chicken with his head chopped off. He was running up in the pocket. And you got running back to do his running, and he's doing the running for that. You pay them to run, to be a running back, but Patrick become a running back. You know, and I think, like you said, the focus was there, you know, like they're supposed to. And then that what turned the game also, I think, is that linebacker, Charles, the man who lined up in the neutral zone. What kind of stuff is that? That kind of turned the game over, and Patrick keeps throwing those interceptions like you're giving away the game to the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, so those are my thoughts on it, man.
No problem, Ken. I appreciate the phone call. I'm going back and I'm looking really quickly at Isaiah Pacheco and how he performed this year. I mean, there's a lot of things that make me scratch my head that I don't really understand from yesterday of why they thought this was a plan. For the life of me, I do not understand how the Chiefs could watch Isaiah Pacheco, make him essentially their starting running back, where he played 15 more snaps than Kareem Hunt did. I don't know what their plan was yesterday at running back, period. I really don't know what it was. I know it wasn't like Philadelphia had a plan. Now, their plan was not working. Like Saquon did not run the football effectively, and they were up. So that obviously changes the targets, but running the football is who Philadelphia is. So we're going to run it. We're going to run it. We're going to run it with Saquon Barkley, and we think over time this can work. We're going to run it a little bit with Kenneth Gainwell. Like, we are committed to running the football. They ran the ball 13 times with Isaiah Pacheco in the postseason. They got 37 yards. Giving the ball to Isaiah Pacheco was a bad play every time you gave it to him in the postseason. There's no the numbers are there. He was not good. He has not been good. The last time that he got more than 40 yards from scrimmage for you guys was the middle of December. This team, they made a lot of critical errors. Not developing DJ Humphries and getting him ready. They had no plan to run the football yesterday, and for whatever reason, Isaiah Pacheco was not the answer to anything they had going on offensively yesterday. Now, I'm not blaming it all on Isaiah Pacheco. He touched the ball 4 times yesterday. They had a bunch of other problems. But I've been beating this drum for the last couple of years. This offense works when they run the football effectively. When they can run the football and they stay balanced and play action is open and you have to respect every facet of their offense, they're really, really difficult to stop. Philadelphia stopped the run, and the Chiefs just had no interest in trying to run the football. Isaiah Pacheco got 3 carries. Kareem Hunt got 3 carries. They had 6 carries divvied up. This game was not a blowout the entire time. This was a 2-possession game late into the second quarter, and they had no interest in trying to run the football. And with that offensive line, you needed something. You needed some screenplays. You had to get some Samaje Perine. Like, you had to try to take some burden off Patrick Mahomes yesterday and not ask him to simply do everything. And when you ask Pat to do everything and he doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket, you get some of the results that you got yesterday. His accuracy was off. He was running around. Anytime Pat turns his back to the defense to spin around, usually bad things happen. That doesn't happen very often. The last time that happened was the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, and a lot of those bad tendencies and bad habits I thought really showed itself in last night's Super Bowl. Let's keep taking your phone calls. Cameron called into the show. Hey, Cam, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Hey, I would just like to highlight what you already said, Carrington, is basically draft. They did better at improving through the draft than we did. Josh Sweat went to the 4th round from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think we took, I know we took a Dorian O'Daniel, who's not even on the team right now, but the same guys that was getting pressure on us, just like that offensive tackle that y'all mentioned, the international player,
yeah,
7th round pick, and we took McKinley's as a transition defensive tackle / center or something like that. That we tried to. He played D-line, but we tried to put him on the offensive line, the center. We took all of these development picks, and that's what kind of bit us in the butt yesterday because, like you said, they did a better job of finding the players, drafting them, and making them up. In that same draft, we took Dorian O'Daniel, and I think Josh Sweat came out of. Fred Warner was in that draft at the San Francisco middle linebacker in the 2nd round. And like I said, we used and I think we took Breland Speaks. Not a shot on Beach, but at the same time, I got to give the Chiefs their props because, we lost Rashee Rice, we lost, of course, Hollywood Brown, and like I said, our main wide receiver was Rashee Rice. The way that we was going to win this game is we had to, because most of our passes was behind the line of scrimmage this year, so we had to rely on this short passing game. And then hopefully with that can matriculate that into a larger couple of shots downfield. That we had to be precision and perfect in that and what we did this year. Another guy that we missed out on again was that Mekhi Becton, the right tackle for the Eagles. signed with the Eagles for, I think, $1 million, less than $1 million, maybe $2 million out of free agency. Like, so we missed those diamonds in the rough this year because, like I said, even though the guy was a little banged up during the season, he was still a integral part of Barkley getting 2,000 yards rushing this year. So, like I said, we missed our diamonds in the rough this year. We just need to do better next year. But hats off. It's been a great 3-year run, given the salary cap and us being successful and the whole rest of the league hating on us because we were successful. Hats off to Kansas City Chiefs, still the best team in history. Thank you very much.
No problem, Kim, and I appreciate it. I don't want to say that the Chiefs have missed on diamonds in the rough. I don't want to say that. They absolutely have missed in the diamonds in the rough. I think maybe what the difference is in some of those is the Chiefs and the Eagles both hit on a 7th-round pick. The Chiefs hit on a 7th-round pick, and they have turned Isaiah Pacheco when he has had a good career. I know he hasn't been good this year. He has had a good career. The Eagles turned that into their starting left tackle, and they've turned him into one of the better left tackles in the league. Where I would say maybe the difference in how Kansas City is drafted is in some of their diamonds in the rough, they're just in much more impactful spots. Like, Trey Smith is a great player. Man, they're hitting on that diamond in the rough at right end, and they've turned that guy into a guy that you think can get double-digit sacks. The Chiefs' diamond in the rough hit at right guard, which is a great position to hit, but just the impact of it, I think, is a little bit different. So I don't want to make it seem like Kansas City has not built a great roster. They obviously have built a very good roster. Philadelphia they have drafted very, very well in the very, very important spots on the field, and they've developed in those. I said it earlier. Where I was wrong at with Philadelphia in their roster building is I just don't really see what the weakness is. It's not quarterback. Their quarterback is not a weakness. He might not be the overwhelming strength that he is for some other teams. Like Cincinnati's better at quarterback. Buffalo's better at quarterback. I've seen Jalen Hurts go up against Steve Spagnuolo's defenses 2 times in the Super Bowl, and he has performed very well in both of them. He is not a weakness for them in this matchup. He is a strength for them. They're just really strong everywhere on their team that I don't really know where their weakness is, and I just don't know how you really attack Philadelphia, and it shows when you look at it. They didn't get outplayed very often this year. When they were healthy and ready to go, now we know, they were the best team in the National Football League. Let's go back to the phone lines. Cody called into the show. Hey, Cody, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing all right, C-Dot. I got a couple things I was just going to say. So, one, I feel like the scoreboard of the final of the game, not a great reflection, I feel like, on how our defense played because, I mean, in retrospect, our defense held them to 24 points. You know, Mahomes threw a pick 6, and then the second pick that he threw, which was on their 14-yard line, may have been a pick 6. So, I mean, that gives me hope for next year for, our defense. We did stop Saquon, the best running back in the league. Our corners got burnt a couple times with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Those are 2 great players who would be number ones on most people's teams. And then my second thing that I wanted to say was the Chiefs offense, especially like Kelsey, some of the other bigger name guys on the team. I know you guys are both movie guys. They reminded me of Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3 when he goes up against Clubber Lang, and he'd been fighting bums all season, and then he fought, a killer. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles felt like to me. They felt like a killer. The Chiefs felt very complacent with how they've been playing. They're on their 3rd Super Bowl in a row, hopefully, is what they thought. And they just didn't feel like their whole heart was in it because they felt like it was almost going to be given to them. So that's really all I had to say.
Cody, no problem, man. I appreciate the phone call. I appreciate the analogy as well. I think that Philadelphia just hit harder than the Chiefs expected. I think the Chiefs thought they had a good idea for what Philadelphia's power and strength was and clearly felt like they could match it. And I think they got there, and that defense especially was much better than they had anticipated. And sometimes you don't know until you see it. You don't know until you're actually in it. But once the fight started and the bell started to ding, I think it became very clear I think it was obvious in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game that the Chiefs could not block Philadelphia. I thought it was obvious they could not block them. And at that point, you are faced with the decision. you can throw your plan out or adjust your plan. Like, you got to. You got to come up with something on the fly. And the Chiefs just didn't really come up with anything on the fly. I don't feel like the Chiefs really made a significant adjustment at any point. And they were set to let Patrick stay back there and run around. They were set to let Joe Tooney on an island out there on the left side, to leave Jawan Taylor out there. This was not the game to do that. And I firmly feel like some of their stubbornness is what led them to get blown out in that game. Maybe Philadelphia was just going to beat them. The Chiefs were just outmatched and it just wasn't their day. That happens sometimes in competition. But just the frustration of not feeling like the Chiefs had a counterpunch, that they got punched squarely in the face. They fell down and got back up, and I just didn't see a whole lot of counterpunching or fight back from Kansas City is the most disappointing part of the game to me. Coming up on the other side, let's talk a little bit about Philadelphia, and we'll keep taking your phone calls. We're probably not going to take calls in the 5 o'clock hour, so if you want to chime in, the next segment is probably the last chance you're going to have to do. 913-586-7965. I was very, very impressed with coach and quarterback from Philadelphia. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold once again telling you about our friends over at Centric, and we've all been dealing with this brutal weather in Kansas City. Maybe you work outside and look, you've just had enough. Well, you can start a brand new career with our friends over at Centric because they allow you to advance your career on your time with their flexible schedule.
Classes start in February. You get to choose your curriculum, go with that new career path, and stop worrying about what the weather will do for you. Call our guy, Russ Mondry. He's been with Centric for 16 years and will be with you to guide you every step of the way. Go to Centric.com now.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, Missouri sports fans, I've got good news. Underdog is available to play in your state. This basketball season, team up with your favorite stars and have a chance to win money from watching sports over at Underdog. From fast breaks to buzzer beaters to block parties, there's nothing as exciting as basketball. With Underdog, you can bring that excitement to wherever you watch. Playing on their app is as easy as choosing higher or lower on player stats like threes made, points, rebounds, and so much more. Get those selections right, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Millions of fans have won billions on Underdog. You gotta be next? Download the Underdog app and sign up now using that promo code TAP to unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with that promo code TAP. Claim your special offer today, and you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This report is brought to you by CareNow Urgent Care. Find one near you at carenow.com.
CareNow Urgent Care has 15 Kansas City area locations open 7 days a week. From injuries and illnesses to school and sports physicals, CareNow Urgent Care is here to help you feel better fast. Find a location near you at carenow.com and use our convenient web check-in today.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Looking at brake lights into downtown via northbound 71 and northbound 35. And now we've got a stalled car closing the left lane of northbound 71 at 70 in the downtown loop. Heavy traffic southbound 71 as well from MLK through East Gregory. And brake lights happening eastbound 70 out of 435. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Kane is in the building.
Welcome to your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, if you want to call in, we got a little bit of time to do so. I don't think we'll take calls in the 5 o'clock hour, but I do want to still give you guys a chance to chime in if you would like. Let me give a little bit of respect to Philadelphia. Let me give a little bit of respect more specifically to Nick Sirianni. I remember this topic came up last week when we were talking to Elliott Shore-Parks, that I asked him, I said, Andy is the offensive mind guru. He is one of the best, brightest offensive minds the league has ever seen. What's Nick Sirianni good at? I wasn't sure what the answer is. I think I now am very sure at what the answer is. And I know that Elliott Shore-Parks was not very popular last week, and I certainly understand why. He was right about a lot of stuff with the Philadelphia Eagles. Here was his question to the why. What makes Nick Sirianni a good coach? Why is he a good coach? Here was his answer.
So I think there's a couple things that Nick is very good at. First, he certainly is a culture builder. And I think when you look around the NFL, it's kind of changed in what the best head coaches do. There's certainly the McVays, the Kyle Shanahans, the Mike McDaniels, although when it comes to McDaniels, his success is certainly starting to wane a little bit. But then there's culture builders. There's Dan Campbell. There's guys like that are leader of men. They get the locker room right. So I think Nick definitely checks that box. But I also think Nick is a very good offensive mind. If you look at his offense since he became the head coach of the Eagles, their offense is consistently one of the best in the NFL. And I know that, obviously I think Jalen gets disrespected when it comes to his rankings around the league. But to your point, a lot of people wouldn't rank Jalen as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think Nick has, developed him and molded the offense around him to make him a great quarterback. But also, if you don't think Jalen's a great quarterback, then it's even more impressive that Nick wins all the time. So I think Nick is very good at culture building. He's very good at building an offense. And then I also think when it comes to, building around the quarterback specifically, he's done a really good job of that.
What I saw yesterday from Nick Sirianni and the Eagles as a whole is I think that everybody on that team believes in their head coach. And I think the team, in a lot of ways, has really rallied around kind of his personality and how he's perceived. I think Nick Sirianni knows that you don't like him. I don't think that it's much of a surprise the league doesn't like Nick Sirianni. I think he channels that and disperses that amongst his team. Jalen Hurts was not a very popular quarterback pick. I watched a video earlier today with someone compiled kind of a bunch of different opinions about Jalen Hurts. He was not supposed to be an NFL quarterback. A lot of people did not think he was an NFL quarterback. He got benched in college at Alabama. In the middle of a championship run, he got benched for a player that he has turned out to be better than. He got benched. He then had to transfer from that school. He then got to the NFL and has basically been told the entire time, you are either not an NFL quarterback, and then when you prove that you are an NFL quarterback, well, you're not a good one. You're not a franchise quarterback. There has been a lot of doubt for Jalen Hurts the last couple of years. Kind of the same thing from Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni has had as good of a first 4 years as any coach in the history of the league. They've won 43 games over the last 4 years. They've been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1 Super Bowl. Usually, that is a coach that gets celebrated. People don't celebrate Nick Sirianni. So what I think Nick is very good at is, hey, Jalen, they didn't believe in you either. Look at what you turned into. Look at what I've turned into. We don't need them. It's us against them. When you're looking at their wide receiver, Devontae Smith, I know he won the Heisman Trophy. A lot of people thought he was too small to play wide receiver in the National Football League. Oh, you could do that in college. I think they have all bonded over that. I know it appears from the outside there's a lot of chaos with Philadelphia. I got the sense yesterday that it's not that big of a deal. I mean, there was a stretch there with A.J. Brown where they're like going back and forth, and it just seemed normal. Like, that's just how they communicate. Like, Nick Sirianni's kind of chirping back. A.J. Brown is chirping back. They're going back and forth. No one really seemed that worried about it. That was on the team. Nobody really tried that hard to break it up. No coaches came over, and it was just it was over. It was done. I gained a lot of respect for Nick Sirianni yesterday and a lot of respect for Jalen Hurts. I was wrong on Jalen Hurts. I was just flat out wrong. He's been very, very good the last couple of years. And for a quarterback that almost at every single turn, people have told no, he turned a lot of those no's into yeses yesterday. A lot of them yesterday. He looked and played the part of a franchise quarterback yesterday. And maybe he will never get the love that Justin Herbert will get. Maybe he'll never get the love that Trevor Lawrence or some of these other quarterbacks get in the National Football League. He didn't come into the league maybe as heralded as a Kyler Murray. People just have endless amount of belief in his talent and ability. All the guy's done is win since he's been here. And he has gone toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring with the guy in 2 Super Bowls and has come out and played very well in both of them. He has matched Mahomes step for step, no question. He's matched Mahomes step for step, and going up against a Chiefs defense that had everybody there. There is no injury that you can point to with Kansas City to use that to take away credit from Jalen Hurts. Chris Jones was there. They got their corners back. They got an all-pro corner in Trent McDuffie. That was a capable defense. And in a game in which if I had told you that Saquon wasn't going to do anything, that Saquon wasn't supposed to, he really wasn't going to, he didn't give you nothing. Saquon was not good yesterday. They needed their quarterback to go out there and make plays. Saquon Barkley had 25 carries for 57 yards yesterday. They got nothing from their run game. Jalen was their run game yesterday. Jalen was their run game yesterday. He was good. I got to tip my cap to him. I got to tip my cap to how he played. I got to tip my cap to what he's done. And it will be very curious once we start to get to quarterback lists and people start making their who's the top 10, is he elite? I'll be very intrigued to see where people put Jalen Hurts because I think he proved a lot of people wrong. You guys remember, there was a time that people told you could not win the Super Bowl with that caliber of quarterback, with that style of quarterback. They did it. They did it. They won the Super Bowl. A very, very great effort yesterday on offense, defense, and special teams. We thought the Chiefs had the special teams advantage. It didn't look like that yesterday either. Harrison Butker didn't kick a field goal yesterday. They dominated the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs in almost every single facet. Matt, you called into the drive. Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Carrington. Thanks for your time and
no problem,
appreciate the program. I wanted to say that one of the previous callers, I think, hit the nail on the head that we were really complacent yesterday, and I think you agree. And then we were stubborn. We didn't change our play calling. I think, honestly, the Chiefs' offense is so good, and we have so many good pieces, but I don't think we're utilizing them in the right way. And maybe, what we need moving forward is an upgrade at OC. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for the time and appreciate the program.
Man, no problem, man. I appreciate your phone call, man. Thanks a lot for chiming in. I will react to this more coming up on the other side because your thoughts are very similar to mine. I will tell you my biggest frustration in Super Bowl 59. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Looking at brake lights into downtown via northbound 71 and northbound 35. And now we've got a stalled car closing the left lane of northbound 71 at 70 in the downtown loop. Heavy traffic southbound 71 as well from MLK through East Gregory. And brake lights happening eastbound 70 out of 435. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Fellas, this is Cody, and let's talk about getting back to your best. Maybe you lack energy, muscle mass, feel moody, have low libido. All of it could be low testosterone. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer, and you'll find the true experts at Low T Center. But guys aren't the same, so don't settle for standard dosage TRT programs. I learned about personalized treatment at Low T Center. Get the results with a customized TRT. And for current patients, Low T Center offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. So go to lowtcenter.com to book an appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Attention lovebirds. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Diamonds Direct has the gifts to wow your special someone. From dazzling diamonds and trending gold to vibrant gemstones, pearls, even timepieces. With hundreds of stunning styles under $1,000 and an exquisite collection of one-of-a-kind luxury pieces. Make your moment unforgettable. The best selection, value, and service are waiting for you. Make this Valentine's unforgettable with fine jewelry for every budget. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, it's Gold telling you about Max Motors. I was just recently at one of their 7 locations. Between Kansas and Missouri, they've got 7 locations, including one that's just 7 minutes from the Grandview Triangle if you're going 192 miles an hour. That's, of course, the Max Motors Harrisonville location. That's where I got a chance to drive a couple new cars, test drive, and find out exactly what the buying process can be like. They make it so easy. They tell you about the total cost of ownership, not just what your monthly payment's going to be. Max Motors has the best financing options available with the max trade-in values in the Midwest. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car. MaxMotors.com.
Are you ready to start feeling your absolute best? I've got the perfect solution. Stretch Zone, your destination for practitioner-assisted stretching. Whether you're an athlete looking to enhance performance or someone seeking relief from the daily grind, Stretch Zone's personalized stretching sessions cater to all levels and lifestyles. Unleash your potential. Let Stretch Zone guide you to a healthier, more flexible you. 6 area locations. Book your session today at StretchZone.com. Stretch Zone. Stretch, work, play, repeat.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as 1 business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-359-3434. 800-359-3434.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, You can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-668-6655. That's 800-668-6655. Again, that's 800-668-6655.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Head home with The Drive. Weekdays starting at 2 on 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, this is what we're going to do. I would say congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. I imagine you were not in a great mood today. We'll take calls in the second segment of the hour, so around 5:30 we'll take calls. So if you want to chime in, I want to give you an opportunity. We'll split this thing up. I'll do a little bit of talking. Rob will do a little bit of talking. We'll let you do a little bit of talking, and then we'll all go home and watch Luka make his debut with the Lakers later today. That sounds like a good plan to me. Let me tell you where I'm most frustrated in what happened yesterday. This is where I'm frustrated. I believe that one of the worst things that you can be is stubborn. Because stubbornness is you failing to admit what we all know is sometimes you get things wrong. You can have the best plan in the world, and then you try that plan in real time. You then get a chance to see how the plan is working. Rob, we've done bits before. We've had an interview before that it is not working. Audio, the guest is not interesting, whatever it is. You are then faced with a decision. You can keep doing it and keep failing, or you can just make an admission. Hey, it's not working today. Why don't we pivot and do something else? What frustrates me most about the Chiefs yesterday, number one on the list is it became very clear in the first, I would say, 8 minutes of the game that the Chiefs were really struggling to block Philadelphia. That I'm sure you knew that this was going to be a problem. You guys watch film. You study this. Andy, you've been around this. You used to coach on the offensive and defensive line. You know football as well as anybody. You had to know that their D-line was going to pose problems for you. Okay, that's fine. Now you get in the game and you get a chance to see it play itself out, and it became very clear that your offensive line was deficient. You are then faced with a couple of decisions. Number one, make a change. You had DJ Humphries sitting back as a break in case of emergency. Well, now's the time to crack that thing open. It was an emergency. You needed help. There's no shame in asking for help. There's no shame in saying, hey, I can't cover this guy. We might have to double team. Hey, you know what? I don't have the right answer. Let me look for it. In fact, that is the most mature thing that you can do is acknowledge that you were wrong. We all are going to be wrong at some point. And what we have now seen from the Chiefs in 2 Super Bowl defeats is Andy struggles in admitting my plan is not going to work. So we need to do a different plan. Or you can do what the Chiefs have done in 2 Super Bowls, get blown out with the original plan. Maybe you make the switch to DJ Humphries and the plan doesn't work. That happens. Like, just because that's your plan B doesn't make plan B a perfect plan. It is a fail-safe in case plan A doesn't work. Go to DJ Humphries, move Joe Thuney over to left guard, and do the offensive line that you had envisioned. And there's going to be some problems because Humphrey hasn't been playing. So now you go to plan C. Why don't we change our offense to help? Why don't we change our offense to help? Maybe we should be in more 2 tight end sets. Maybe we should be in some different packages where we can give more protection and more time to Patrick Mahomes. Maybe we have to switch up and fight southpaw because fighting with our right hand is not working. I want to try to figure out a way to win this game. And if you can tell me right now, 913-586-7965, that you thought the Chiefs at any point made a plan to adjust to the deficiencies of their offensive line, I'll tell you I'm wrong. I get things wrong all the time. Sometimes I got to fall on the sword. I got to take those jokes. I got to come to you and be like, hey, I was wrong about this. That's life. We move on. It frustrates me that I feel like they were incredibly stubborn yesterday offensively. In a day in which they didn't really have a lot of answers, and the answers could have quite possibly have been there, and they didn't try. There's no reason, absolutely no reason, why they didn't move Joe Thuney back to the left guard. There's no explanation for it based on how they've handled this season with their offensive line. They have shown a quick hook at every turn on offensive line. They benched their starting left tackle 2 quarters into the second game of the season. Wanya Morris was not even active for the game. They've shown you aggressiveness at every turn at that position, except this one. This is now the game. It's, what can we do? All right, we could chip a little bit more. We could help a little bit more. Hey, maybe we'll have this guy in and we'll play with 6 offensive linemen and keep him home, but we got to figure out a way to protect our quarterback, and you couldn't do that yesterday. The Eagles got pressure on 52.4% of dropback passes. Over 50% of the time that Patrick Mahomes dropped back to pass, he was pressured by the Eagles. You didn't try another plan at offensive line at all? Those 5 that couldn't block at any point, they played 100% of the snaps, all 5 of them? Okay. Again, maybe it wouldn't have worked. I'm not here to tell you that for sure it would have worked. I can't tell you definitively if it would have worked. I certainly would have loved to see them try. Let's change the offense up. Let's call more screens. Let's call more quick passes to get the ball out of Mahomes' hand. We have to do something to try to give our quarterback a chance. That didn't happen. That's thing 1 that I'm frustrated with. Thing 2 that I'm frustrated with. They called 7 run plays. I did not misspeak. I did not exaggerate. They called 7 run plays. Kareem Hunt got 3 carries. Samaje Perine got 1. That was in garbage time. Isaiah Pacheco got 3. I know this game was a blowout. This game was close for a large portion of it, and the Chiefs had no interest in trying to run the football. I will continue to say this. This will be my message all offseason. Every single part of this offseason will include this message. The Chiefs are at their best when they run the football effectively. That's when they're at their best. And if you don't have a plan on how you can run the football effectively, it makes your quarterback's job a lot harder when you can't run the football. The Chiefs had chances in this game. They did early. And we'll talk about how they got down big, but they had chances. They really did. I'm sitting there looking at it. They didn't run the ball at all on their first possession. They did not run the football. First possession. All right, cool. Let's see what happens second possession. They ran the ball once. It was not part of their game script to run the football. On their third drive, they again threw it every time. Their first 10 plays, they threw it 9 times. They ran it once. It was 7-0. You're not out of it. That's not a blowout at that point. It's the first quarter of the game. You're feeling each other out. You came out 4 plays, punt, 3 plays, punt, 3 plays, punt. You had no interest in trying to run the football effectively. Their plan was, Pat, save us. That was their plan. And against that defensive line, Pat was not saving you. He played bad. I'm not saying this was everybody. Everybody holds how they lost yesterday. Offense, defense, special teams, Patrick, Andy, Matt Nagy. Everybody is part of how they lost yesterday. That's my number 1 frustration. I got a lot of frustrations from yesterday. That is number 1 on my list is stubbornness. It's flat out stubbornness. It's the same stubbornness that got them beat against Tampa Bay. Your offensive line was a problem. You didn't try to throw the offensive line a life jacket, no preserver. You continued to put Joe Thuney on an island, even though he was getting whipped. You continued to let Mike Caliendo go out there, even though this was a game that was way above his skill level. You didn't try to help him. You didn't try to take pressure off your quarterback by trying to run the football effectively. You called quite literally 7 run plays over the course of a 60-minute football game. That ain't enough, especially when the opposition ran it 45 times. All you need to know about this game is Kenny Pickett had as many carries as as Isaiah Pacheco. He had as many carries as Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, who got 17 carries last week against Buffalo, he got 3 in this game. He was on the field for 11 of their 56 snaps, and he got as many carries as Kenny Pickett, who came in to kneel the ball. Tells you everything I need to know about how they want to run the football. The other thing is, I think for the first time, probably since that Tampa Bay game, we saw the Chiefs get outright bullied. That I believe the Eagles think they are more physical than Kansas City and think that Kansas City is probably a little bit soft up front and think that we can exploit them. And if you remember, and we all kind of laughed at them for saying this, that the Eagles defense was pretty firm on this field did not allow our defense to play how we usually play. It was a hindrance to us. We think that we can beat that team if we played on a different surface. And I laughed at it. You laughed at it. Everybody kind of chuckled. Ha, ha, ha. You guys are making excuses. You played on the same field that Kansas City played on. Philadelphia said, all right, cool. And most of those same players got a chance to play up against Kansas City in a completely perfect environment. No weather, no field conditions, no none of that. Let's go play football. And their defensive line whipped the Chiefs from start to finish. Maybe they were right. Maybe they were wrong. Maybe they were right. But I saw a Chiefs team that didn't make adjustments. I saw a Chiefs team that didn't really have interest in running the football. I saw a Chiefs team that got punched in the mouth and seemed to have no answer for it. The Chiefs came off like a team that hasn't been in a fight in a long time. And I'm not talking about a close game. That's different. I'm talking about a fight. Because Philadelphia looked prepared to fight. And I didn't get that sense from the Chiefs. I didn't get that sense from anybody that matters on the Chiefs. Maybe Chris Jones. Chris Jones was mad and was kind of going back and forth. I saw a team that had a plan, got punched in the mouth, reached up, felt its lip, saw blood for the first time in a long time, and really didn't know what to do. I was still holding out hope. I imagine you were still holding out hope. It was 17-0. It was 17-0. Maybe you lost hope before I did. It was 17-0. The Chiefs just forced a punt. They are now getting the ball back. Now, it's not ideal. It is 1st and 10 from the Kansas City 6-yard line. It is 1:49 to go, and the Chiefs have all their timeouts. I'm saying this to one of my good friends, Brian, whose kid broke the lamp. I'm sitting there right with them, and I told him, I said, this is where the Chiefs usually score. We've all seen a lot of Chiefs games. We've seen them. This is where they score. The Chiefs score here. They're down 17-7. You can woo-saw a little bit. Go get yourself something to drink. Go to the bathroom. Come back locked in because Kansas City gets the ball back first in the second half. And this is where you go for the double dip. This is why the Chiefs decline the coin toss. They won the coin toss. This is why they choose for Philadelphia to get it first for this moment, for this scenario, for the double dip. We get the ball with less than 3 minutes to go. We go down the field. We score. We have the momentum. Halftime break. Kendrick goes out there. We come back on the field. We get the ball again. We score. And we have a chance for this game to be 17-14. And then they get the ball back for the first time with 11 minutes to go in the third quarter. And we got action. And what happened on that next play sums up the entire game. It does. It sums up the entire game. Joe Thuney gets beat. I mean, pushed back 2 yards, 3 yards. He gets pushed back into Patrick Mahomes. Patrick gets uncomfortable. You can see it on his face. You can see it in his body language. He is not able to follow through and make a good throw. He throws the ball directly to Philadelphia's all-pro linebacker. So what turns from the Chiefs having the ball down 17-0, it now is Philadelphia with the ball, 1st and 10 from the Kansas City 14. They scored they scored on 2 plays later. That was the end of the game. That was your chance to win the football game. I think the Chiefs got bullied yesterday. I think they got pushed around yesterday. I think they got punched yesterday. I don't think that they anticipated how much power Philadelphia's punches had. It's one thing to spar. It's one thing to see it on film. They saw that pass rush in person. They saw that defensive line against their offensive line, and I think they had flashbacks to what happened in Tampa Bay. I didn't like Pat's body language really at any point in the game. I didn't like Travis Kelce's body language at any point in the game. I think they got on the ground. I think they started to put the ground and pound submission moves on them, and I don't think that they were ready or prepared for anything that Philadelphia had for them. I don't think they were prepared for any of it. I really don't. So that's one part of it. I got other complaints too. I'll do some talking here, and I promise I'll take you guys' phone call on the other end. I got issue with DeAndre Hopkins. I really do. I got an issue with DeAndre Hopkins. Now, let me play this for you, because I at least want to set it up because maybe you didn't hear it. Now, there's a chance here that D-Hop is just trying to be funny. There really is a chance. Maybe D-Hop has been hearing all the noise and all the chatter, and he's a little angry about that and wants to kind of snap back at the media. I don't have any problem with that. I'm allowed to give my opinion. You're allowed to give your opinion. That's the way that this thing should work. But the time to get flippant is not after y'all just got thumped in front of everybody. The time to kind of try to one-up the media or, oh, what about so-and-so, is not after you played poorly. It's not after which you were wide open in the middle of the field. Pat puts it in your hands and you drop it. I don't want to hear your smart aleck comments after the game. Not when you played poorly. And where I will be a little bit critical of Chiefs Kingdom, where I'll be a little bit critical of Chiefs fans is we hold them to the standard that we don't care about what they do in the regular season. I don't care how many yards you have. I don't care how many touchdowns you have. That's not what we play for. We play for championships. And DeAndre Hopkins has played poorly for 2 months, and nobody has said anything. We've all just sat back like, oh, it doesn't matter. You guys were saying that they were holding plays back in the AFC Championship game. Oh, Andy's, it's not a big deal. You're overreacting. Quit being negative. Oh, okay, all right, hey. I'm telling you guys that DeAndre Hopkins had 7 yards the last 2 games. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, they're saving DeAndre. You guys said they were saving DeAndre Hopkins. Well, I hope they were saving him for the Super Bowl. He had 18 yards yesterday. He had 18 yards. He was a non-factor in the game. He caught his 1 touchdown when you had already started driving home. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. It is the most forgettable touchdown in Super Bowl history, what DeAndre Hopkins did yesterday. And then you got to stand in front of the media and do this? It's embarrassing.
I saw a lot of things in the media about the refs, but obviously what y'all going to say now about the refs and us when there was a lot of touchy calls. Are y'all going to report that? Are y'all going to talk about the refs now?
All right, bro. Okay. You got it, man. My bad. You got it. DeAndre Hopkins, no show yesterday. 2 catches for 18 yards and had a garbage touchdown that means nothing to anybody. The last 2 months of the season, DeAndre Hopkins has been missing in action. The last 4 games for the Chiefs, he has 36 yards receiving. That's what you traded DeAndre Hopkins for. Where I am critical at from Brett Veach is none of the moves that you made in the middle of the season to try to help the Chiefs win that game actually helped. You went out and you got Kareem Hunt. He got the ball 3 times. You made a trade for DeAndre Hopkins. That was a postseason move. I was with you guys. I don't care what D-Hop did in the regular season. You got him for this game. You got him for these games. He didn't have a catch against Houston. He had 11 yards against Buffalo. He had 18 yards in the postseason. They played in 3 postseason games. He had 3 catches for 29 yards. He was bad in the postseason. You guys have been telling me about playoff Travis, and you guys don't care what he does in the regular season. I was being too hard on him. Travis Kelce dropped that first pass and looked mentally checked out for the rest of the day. Mentally checked out. 2 most important games of the season, Travis Kelce missing in action. Didn't do anything the last 2 weeks. I'm not saying Pat's perfect by any means. You got nothing from Kareem Hunt. You got nothing from Isaiah Pacheco, nothing from D-Hop, nothing from Travis Kelce yesterday. Nothing. That was just everybody. Everybody was bad. So that's a small part. I'm not saying they lost because of D-Hop. I know how you guys take these things, but we can't all regular season have the stance of we don't care how these guys play. We only care how they play in the postseason. And now we're overreacting when we're critical of them for not stepping up in regular season games. And then they go lay eggs in the post like, oh, it happens. No, it don't happen. Nobody was asking you to do anything in the regular season. We asked you to make a difference in the postseason. You were MIA. At least Frank Clark, he did it the right way. You know what? I respected it. Hey, man, I don't care about these games. I might not even play in these games. But you know, once we get to championship time, once it's money time, I'm turning my game to the next level, and we're about to go win because I'm going to go make a play. D-Hop hasn't made a play for the Chiefs in 6 weeks. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you complaining about the officials. I don't want to hear you arguing about the officials. I don't want to hear you trying to one-up the media. I don't want any of it from you. You weren't good enough to have this opinion. Simple as put. You were not good enough. Last thing here before we step aside and take calls. I think this is worse than Tampa Bay. I don't care what the score says. I don't care how many points they scored. This is worse than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay kind of came with its own built-in excuse. It did. Its own built-in excuse. You didn't have your left tackle. You didn't have your right tackle. That was not the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know who they were. That was not the Chiefs. They didn't have their full complement of weapons, and they got hit with an absolute buzzsaw that I don't know if they had the bodies to prepare for. This was not a talent issue. It was some of it. It's not a talent issue. This was a everything issue. This was a coaching issue. I would have never been able, I never would have imagined that I could sit here before you and tell you that I think that Nick Sirianni coached circles around Andy Reid yesterday. He did. For 2 Super Bowl games, Jalen Hurts has stood toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and looked like a franchise quarterback. You can't call him a weakness anymore. He might not be the strength that other quarterbacks are. He is not a weakness for them. He had to make plays for them to win. They got 57 yards rushing from Saquon Barkley. Their quarterback needed to make plays. Their quarterback needed to be great. He was yesterday. They got outclassed in all facets yesterday. Outclassed. Start to finish. There's no asterisks with this one. Chiefs fans have kind of men in black flashy thing the Tampa Bay game and excused it away over and over and over. It's at the point we don't even talk about the Tampa Bay game anymore. It's like we know Pat's been to 5 of these, but one of these, like it just didn't happen. It's like a figment of our imagination. It was like a fever dream, like one of the episodes from Sopranos. This happened. This was the one you really, really want. You wanted this one. It was a three-peat. It was everything. This was the Super Bowl to win. And they laid an egg. It was a phenomenal movie with a terrible ending that makes you sit back and think, what did we just watch? I spent 2 hours. You loved the movie up to that point. But then the last 5 to 10 minutes, it just undid all of the hard work that the movie had put together, all the character development. That's how the season ends? The season ends with them getting blown out? The season ends with them not being competitive? There's no asterisks. None for this. This has to be a moment of reflection. I think the way that they've built their team is wrong in some ways. And I said this when they lost to Buffalo. You can pull the audio. And people are like, oh, you're making excuses. Look at the skill position players on one team and look at the other team. When I look at Philadelphia, all of their players are in their prime at the same time. Saquon, their wide receivers, their running back, their offensive line, they got guys who are in their prime. This team, they need an infusion of something. This team was very reliant on a 35-year-old tight end who clearly has one eye set on other things. This team was overly reliant on a running back who was not on an NFL roster at the very beginning of the season. They needed Hollywood Brown to come back. This team, they got to get younger and more explosive offensively. And they also got to change some of the philosophy up front. They got beat up front. For a team that has a potential future Hall of Fame center, Trey Smith is going to be an all-pro caliber right guard. Joe Thuney, we think, is going to the Hall of Fame. Like, they got enough pieces offensively up front to not go the first 35, 40 minutes of the game with less than 50 yards of total offense. They just got beat up. Very simple. They got beat up. This wasn't even a jumping. This was a hand-to-hand fist fight in the middle of the street, and they just got beat up for a full 60 minutes yesterday. All right, you're listening to The Drive here on 96.5 The Fan. Let's take a break here. We'll take your phone calls. If you want to get in between now and the end of the show, now's the time to call. We'll continue to talk about Super Bowl 59. Today will be more about the game, and then tomorrow we'll start to look ahead for the offseason. What's next for the Chiefs? What are they going to do? But today it is recapping what we watched last night in the Super Bowl. Key right here is The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This Valentine's Day, shop at Helzberg and get up to 50% off select jewelry. Like a diamond pendant that says,
I'm so lucky I met you.
a stunning engagement ring to say,
Let's make this day unforgettable.
or an anniversary band to tell them.
10 years, and we still got it.
Come to Helzberg this Valentine's and get up to 50% off select jewelry and engagement rings. A perfect gift designed with the love and care worthy of your story. Visit a Helzberg store or helzberg.com.
Winter is more than half over, and things are looking up. But before we start thinking about spring lawn care, I'd like to ask you to look up at your trees. This is Larry Ryan at Ryan Lawn and Tree. And right now, before the leaves fill in, is a great time to find and take care of old storm damage, remove dead branches, and carefully prune trees for better growth and storm resilience. Now is also when you can save 15% with our winter rates. Our team of master pruners and certified arborists is unmatched in both skill and care. And at Ryan Lawn and Tree, they're also employee owners. You're not just a customer, you're their customer. I think you'll be impressed with the difference that makes. So will your valuable trees. Take advantage of our winter rates and enjoy 15% off all tree services when you book before March 1st. Call today or book online at ryanlawn.com/tree.
Pheasants Forever's National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic is coming to the Kansas City Convention Center this March 7th through the 9th. Join us for puppy and dog training seminars, a youth village for kids, pollinator and wildlife habitat hunting gear in the 20th anniversary of Quail Forever. It's National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic the weekend of March 7th. Presented by Pheasants Forever, Quail Forever, and Federal Ammunition. For more information, log on to pheasantfest.org.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This report is brought to you by Care Now Urgent Care. Find one near you at carenow.com.
Care Now Urgent Care has 15 Kansas City area locations open 7 days a week. From injuries and illnesses to school and sports physicals, Care Now Urgent Care is here to help you feel better fast. Find a location near you at carenow.com and use our convenient web check-in today.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Stalled car closing the left lane downtown, northbound 71, right at 70. Slow into downtown if you are headed northbound into downtown via 35. Also looking at a stalled car, adding to the slowdowns, eastbound 70 just past 435. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Hollywood Brown. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you. We will get to your calls coming up in just a little bit. There's certainly a lot to get into, and there's a future conversation to have about Kansas City. I don't want to come off like I don't think the Chiefs have a tremendous foundation. They absolutely do. But I do think how one team has built their roster, and when you see it up against Kansas City's roster, it was kind of telling. Philadelphia's roster feels young and very fresh, and I think the Chiefs roster, it is starting to feel old in a lot of ways. And it's probably time for a reset at some critical positions. The one young, very talented offensive player that they had balled out yesterday. Xavier Worthy was fantastic. Patrick Mahomes threw for 257 yards. Xavier Worthy had 157 of those yards. But then think about everybody else that touched the ball for Kansas City. Kareem Hunt, 29-year-old running back, wasn't on a roster to begin the season. Samaje Perine, journeyman running back. Isaiah Pacheco, hurt all year, 7th-round pick. Travis Kelce, contemplating retirement. DeAndre Hopkins will probably retire in the next 18 months. Juju Smith-Schuster, he got cut from the Patriots, folks. He got cut from the Patriots. Those were your top 5 or 6 guys or so. I'm not here to make excuses for Mahomes. I'm not here to make excuses for how he played. He played poorly. I'm not telling you something you don't know. It's time for a reset on their roster. And then when I look at Philadelphia, they got Saquon Barkley. They gave him $12 million. You didn't go out and spend big-time money to go get a legitimate running back. You spent like number 3 running back money. Or number 3 wide receiver, excuse me. You spent number 3 wide receiver. Gabe Davis made more this offseason than Saquon Barkley did. Devontae Smith, drafted, high draft pick, Heisman winner. A.J. Brown, traded for him, paid him. Philadelphia has either developed or been willing to pay for things. Now, they've already paid their quarterback, but the contract is kicking in short. Not everybody's situation is in the same. But Philadelphia really needed a running back. They didn't go get their running back from the 5th, 6th round. No, let's go get the best running back, and we'll figure it out. Hey, we need a number 1 wide receiver. Let's go make a trade, and let's go get A.J. Brown. And other teams won't pay him. We'll give him $25 million a year. They spent the top 15 pick on Devontae Smith. They've developed, and it was time for them to break through, and they had their chance, and they did it. They absolutely did it. Let's go to the phone lines. Mike, you calling into the show. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Watching the game last night, I'm a huge Missouri Tiger fan. The game just felt like the Texas A&M Missouri college football game this year, where Missouri, I had high hopes for Missouri going into that game, and they just fell apart when some things didn't go their way. And the game last night just brought back bad memories of that.
Mike, I appreciate the phone call. It brought up a lot of bad memories. I've never seen a room clear out as quickly as last night's Super Bowl. I think everybody has their when did it end moment. Like, there was even optimism even after they got down. And then it just reached the point like, yeah, they're not winning this game. Like, yeah, no, they just lost. They got outplayed for this one. They just lost. Start to finish, they just lost. Maybe, I don't know. I just wanted a good game. You know, I mean, obviously, I wanted the Chiefs to win. I wanted the parade. I wanted all those things. I just wanted a good game. We didn't get that. I'm stunned they lost the way that they lost. I'm stunned the way that they lost. I'm not stunned they lost. Like, Philadelphia is a good team. I'm stunned that they didn't look competitive at all. I didn't think you could do that to a fully healthy Chiefs team. I really didn't. I didn't think you could beat the fully healthy Kansas City Chiefs like that. They've never lost like that. Ever. Not even the Tampa Super Bowl. They've never lost how they lost yesterday. When they've had everybody around, they usually win, but they put up a fight. They didn't put up a fight at all. I mean, the last 30 minutes of the game, you should have gone to do something else. When was the last time the Chiefs game had garbage time? They had legitimate garbage time. It went so poorly yesterday, Philadelphia did the Gatorade with 3 minutes left in the game. They put the Gatorade bath on Nick Sirianni with 3:22 on the clock yesterday. 3:22. Yeah, 3:22 they did that. Like, oh, my goodness. Kevin, you calling us to the show. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, man?
Well, how are you?
Doing good.
Doing all right. So, yeah, I won't take up much more of your time here, Carrington. You guys are getting close to the end of the show here. Appreciate you and Rob taking my call.
No problem.
So, two things. Number one, of course, right, what happened last night was a tough pill to swallow. Diehard Chiefs fan. I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. But it is what it is, you know. Today was the first day in about a month I didn't wear any Chiefs gear. That's all right. You know, after listening to you guys all day, I'm like, you know what, man, we'll be back. You know, we're comeback city for a reason, and I do believe that the kingdom will rise again. That's number one. Number two is, can't take away anything positive what we saw last night. I was watching it, and then around, 17-0, kind of started to panic. I was like, you know what? Now we got this. Once, we saw Kendrick, and then we made it to the third quarter, right? As soon as I saw that the pick, I pretty much knew it was done. So, yeah, of course, right, we're all in shock. It's a tough pill to swallow. Can't take away anything positive from that. But what we can take away from, not to get sappy, guys, I'm sorry, but we can take away, right, the memory we had watching it however we did, whether, you were at Power and Light District at the Fan Fest, whether you were surrounded by friends, family, maybe people we haven't seen in a while. We can take away that sense of community we saw, seeing, Grand filled with Chiefs gear, red and yellow, red and gold, I should say. So, yeah, not to get sappy, but, at least we can take away the fact that at least, for a short amount of time, with all the things dividing us right now in the world, won't get political on air, but, for one day, right, Kansas City, the whole Midwest, wherever you are in the world, we're together, we supported one kingdom, and like I said, we will rise again. I appreciate you guys' time.
No problem, Kevin. I appreciate it, man. You want to know how I know the Chiefs got really thumped? Whenever you got to pull out that message at the end, y'all got whooped. That was an ass whooping. When you start talking like that, hey, man, I know they lost, but, man, I'm just happy we could come together as one. All right. You can tell me how the game went without telling me how it went. That's how I know the Chiefs got thumped. I ain't never heard y'all talk like that after no game. Hey, man, we just got to come together. Hey, it was a fun ride. Yeah, no, it was. It was fun. It was enjoyable till it wasn't. It was great. TJ, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you, C-Dot?
Doing good.
Long-time listener, just want to say I'm a huge fan of everything you've done and are going to continue to do for the Kansas City sports community. As a fellow journalist who looked up to you a lot when I was growing up, it means a lot what you do, and just a huge fan. But my biggest thing, or one of my big takeaways just thinking about the game today and being on social media, was how simple the Eagles kept their game on both sides of the ball and how they were still able to dominate the way that they did. Like, Fangio's defensive system is a system that does keep it simple. He's not a guy like Spags who's going to bring, a boundary corner blitz and spin the shell late in the down and show a bunch of different stuff. He's just going to line up with 4 down, and he's going to rush 4, and he's going to play cover 4 and cover 2 and cover 1. And it just worked so well and so easy for them. I think that was the most shocking thing to me, was how vanilla they were able to keep the game and yet still be able to dominate the way that they did. Like, it was a 4-man rush the whole game. We all know they didn't blitz, but the way that they were rushing straight at Pat. They weren't trying to create a pocket. They were trying to take a more direct path straight through his face, and they did it by going straight through our offensive lineman's face. No finesse moves needed whatsoever. It was just straight, I'm a better man than you, and I'm going to prove it to you on this snap. And that was just very, very shocking for me to see.
Absolutely, TJ. I mean, I appreciate the compliment at all. I think maybe the best way to kind of describe it is, I think that Vic Fangio has probably known how to slow down Patrick Mahomes. He just didn't have the horses until yesterday to finally be able to do it. He had the horses to do it yesterday. That's a defense that is really good on all levels. That's a defense that can get after you with their D-line. They have maybe the best linebacker unit in the NFL, and they have certainly the most talented young secondary in the league. Cooper DeJean is a rookie. Quinyon Mitchell is a rookie. They were doing that with young guys, no experience, young, talented guys that play their position and play it really, really well. I think we've known for some time how to slow down Patrick Mahomes and what the weaknesses are. I just don't think there's a lot of teams that are complete enough to do it. Tampa's defense was complete enough, but we've known what to do for a while. We've spent 2 years talking about the blueprint to beat the Chiefs and what defenses Pat really struggles in, and that's exactly what Philadelphia did. We're going to rush 4. We're going to take away the middle of the field for Travis Kelce, and we're going to force you to throw out to the numbers. And we're going to bet that you're not patient enough to dink and dunk and throw it underneath, and eventually you are going to make a mistake. That's what he did yesterday. The same blueprint that we've had for 2-3 years, we finally ran against another defense that has all the things capable of running it. That's like Tampa's defense. Tampa's defense, that was not a mistake. They had the same kind of dogs on that D-line. They had the linebacker group to do it and enough good corners, and that's what Philadelphia just did. So I do think, and Mahomes, I heard him talking about this after the game, this has to be one of those eye-openers. Now, again, I'm not making it seem like the league has figured out Patrick Mahomes, but, hey, there is a team out there that thinks they can stop me. I'm going to make sure this never happens again, and you will not be able to stop me and clean up some of the weaknesses. And once you start to get Mahomes rattled, he loses some of his foundation, some of his fundamentals. He starts running around. He starts trying to make plays. He starts playing erratic. And you can get to Mahomes. We saw him be very human yesterday, and it's been a long time since he's been human in a game of this magnitude. It was the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay in 2020. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
When a KU versus K-State rivalry game begins, emotions run high, legends are created, school pride hangs in the balance, memories that last a lifetime will be made, because each game is the most important game in history. At least, until the next one. Get in the game with your chance to win up to $50,000. The Rivalry Riches instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery. See kslottery.com for details.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
Hey, it's Gold telling you about Max Motors. I was just recently at one of their 7 locations between Kansas and Missouri. They've got 7 locations, including one that's just 7 minutes from the Grandview Triangle if you're going 192 miles an hour. That's, of course, the Max Motors Harrisonville location. That's where I got a chance to drive a couple new cars, test drive, and find out exactly what the buying process can be like. They make it so easy. They tell you about the total cost of ownership, not just what your monthly payment's going to be. Max Motors has the best financing options available with the max trade-in values in the Midwest. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car. MaxMotors.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A 2-car crash, northbound lanes of 69 Highway right at 135th Street. That's got the left lane closed. And stalled cars at the 435 and 70 exchange, slowing things down, particularly in the direction of eastbound 70. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Make sure to follow The Drive on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Rob, this is a weird day. There's not really a lot of great college basketball on today. Today is a spend time with your family kind of day. Today is a day, hey, babe, you want to watch a movie? Today is a catch up on your favorite television shows, but this is a very sleepy day. How'd your basketball team perform this weekend? You guys win or lose, or what happened?
We were bad.
You guys lost again?
Yep. Latest bracketology has was a 4 seed, so, that's fun.
Got it. No, I wasn't sure. I missed it. I wasn't.
That's big talk from someone who went 0-2 this weekend.
Yeah,
0-2 this week.
No, Missouri lost too. No, they lost. They lost. They could have beat A&M, man. It was right there. It was really right there. They got Oklahoma coming up in a couple of days.
That's a get-right game.
At home, too. They got Oklahoma at the crib. You lose to Oklahoma at the crib. We got other issues going on. They got other problems. Oklahoma is not a good basketball team.
Don't worry. KU's got Colorado, who's 0 in the league.
Yeah, no, that's tomorrow. That's one of those free. That's those. If you've never been to Allen Fieldhouse, that's one of those kind of games. You can go tomorrow for Allen for dirt cheap. They giving tickets away
with the weather too.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
Take the kids.
When's it supposed to snow? I feel like they've told us 5 different days for the weather.
I've heard as early as like 1 a.m. like Tuesday night into Wednesday morning.
That's what I've heard too. All right. And they told us they think we could get 9 inches of snow is what they said?
Yeah, 4 to 6 is the number I keep hearing, but The doomsday scenario is 9.
Have you got bread? You got all your bread and stuff? You got all your eggs and milk?
We got
stuff?
bread, eggs, and milk. We're ready for French toast.
Well, milk. I mean, if you got eggs right now, you're sitting on gold. You need to go ahead and retire. If you got an 18 pack of eggs right now, oh my goodness, you can start reselling them like it's a PlayStation 5. Like you got a week. That's what you can start doing. All right, we got time to take 2 more calls. Let's take both of them. Chris, how you doing today, man?
Hey, Carrington, I know how you and Rob love movie analogies.
We love them.
Hearing you talk about what was going on with the Chiefs yesterday brought me back to Rocky III. So I think what epitomizes the Chiefs' mindset was what Kelsey was wearing walking into the stadium. I just picture Philadelphia just wearing the black shorts, and that's it. They were coming for business. You've got like the Chiefs just coming in. Hey, we've been to this dance before, 5 times before. We know how it goes. We've got the rhythm down. Eagles were coming in hungry. You've got Rocky going into that first round. After that first round, he's like, man, I can't keep him off. He's too strong. I don't know what to do. And he was just spent. He wasn't expecting what Clubber came at him. And I think, man, the Eagles just smacked him in the mouth, and KC could not recover. They could not take that first punch, and they didn't know what to do. They absolutely didn't know what hit them, and it was over. In fact, I stopped watching it after, because I was in the same mindset that you were. They were going to come out in the second half. They were going to get that ball, take it down the field, and score, and say, okay, now we're going to get the ball rolling. They went 3 and out. I think the first drive in that second half, I went and took care of business elsewhere in the house. I had something else better to do.
No, Chris, I completely understand, man. I appreciate the phone call. I want to try to get to Dan and KCK. I love the Rocky III analogy. I do think that happened in a lot of ways. It was very telling to me that I think some teams are afraid of Kansas City. Like, I think the Chiefs have a mental advantage over some of the teams in the AFC. Philadelphia played like they knew they were better than Kansas City. And teams just usually, they don't come out with that kind of energy against the Chiefs. The Eagles, to me, played like a team that have been talking amongst themselves that they think that Kelsey is soft, they think Mahomes is soft, they think that offensive line is soft, and we are going to show you that this is the case. That's how I thought they came out with the energy, and you're right. They punched them in the face from the very beginning, and the Chiefs just looked around like, who hit me? The person in front of you, that's who hit you. Dan, we got like 90 seconds left. Go ahead, my man.
Hey, Carrington, how you doing? Well, at least the Chiefs did a good job stopping Saquon with 57 yards, but they just couldn't protect him on the offensive line. I don't know what the problem was, just couldn't give him enough time, and I'm surprised Kareem Hunt and Pacheco didn't have a big game on the ground. So, but anyway, it was a great season, so let's take care of business. My brother John called in Tupelo, Mississippi, said, all the Chiefs got to do is get some offensive line help in the draft, and they'll be back in the Super Bowl next year. I'm going to watch I got the NBA League Pass, Carrington, I'll watch Luka Doncic's debut tonight with the Lakers. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely, Dan. I appreciate it. I'm watching that tonight, too. That's going to be in my plan. A little entourage, little Luka Doncic playing for the Lakers. I'm with you. I mean, I think Kareem Hunt could have maybe got going. It's hard to get going with 3 carries. How many yards are you supposed to get with 3 carries? I don't know what you can do with 3 carries. What can I do with this? Can't do nothing. All right, well, tomorrow's show is going to have a different tone, a different theme. All right, it's going to be a little lighter than today. We're probably not going to take as many of your phone calls, so I hope you got your calls in today, because you might not hear from me ever again. You might not hear. Rob looks tired. I did most of the talking today. Rob looked tired. Y'all wore Rob out answering these phone calls. Rob don't want no parts of answering the phone calls. I had a lot of fun, all things considered. You know what? Why don't we put this game behind us and start looking to the offseason? We'll do that tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Take care of yourself. Be back tomorrow. So, Drive.